and welcome to another episode of the Grindbin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Chris Mann.
I'm Bobby Trippett.
I'm Michael Tanner.
And today we're talking about 1989's Mind Trap.
You can learn a lot from a dummy.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Dad, I made the tea. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
What is set it, knocker? I don't know. This book ain't got no real rhythm.
Hello, Mr. Man.
We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love funny games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
This is Los Angeles.
How the hell would women live? I'm horny.
And maybe Daddy wouldn't have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore.
What a shame.
It's for jacking off. Come on, just step on the gas before we get creamed.
So guys, full hands on deck for this DanCember special.
There had to be.
And I just want to say, before we get into it, everybody that's listening right now, if you have not watched this movie, 1989's Mind Trap, stop this right now. I've never done this before.
Never listen to another sound from this episode. Move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Stop this
Skip.
podcast, watch the movie, and come back. It's on YouTube right now. It's for free.
Don't
Please.
let us spoil everything.
And
that
it is a
happens.
brisk 90 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, man. It just piles on and on and on and on by the end of the
it's
movie.
a 90 minutes that passes too fast for them.
Oh, you know,
I think they were on 1.5.
taking notes on this thing was a challenge.
It may be the most notes I've ever taken.
Oh, certainly for me, especially for a 90-minute movie. But yes,
This movie was a mind trap.
it
It was a fever trap of a mind dream.
Tanner, you sent to me when you started watching it that you felt like you were on cough syrup.
Yeah, I thought I had
Dude, same.
I thought I
You
had
had to go to the doctor afterwards.
Yeah. What's the name of that? What the kids used to do in the 90s?
The old tussin?
I
Yeah.
thought it was tussin.
Robo tripping.
Robo-tripping. There
Robo-tripping.
we go. Yeah, so this movie, incredible. Please watch it before you listen to this podcast. And if you're not, you'll definitely want to watch it after we tell you about it, I hope. Because this needs to find an audience, guys.
It is the hardest movie to find. This feels harder than Demon Cop.
It is on the level of Demon Cop to find. There's almost nothing. There's like no bootlegs for it. There's one guy who uploaded it to YouTube.
And thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh
you
my
for
God.
uploading it.
Thank you.
Hero of the bin.
I have seen
whoever
the light.
that guy is.
Like, and this movie, by the way, it goes all the way to the top, guys. And for a movie made in 1989, I can't believe how it guessed the future. Like, it guessed literally what's happening today. It's really crazy.
2018 is a mind trap.
It really is. And this movie is amazing. And so, guys, it's directed by a man named Eames Demetrios. He only has a few movies, and none you'll ever get to see. This is the only movie that's really ever been released by him. The other things are like weird documentaries or festival films. I can't find any copies of anything else he has ever done. However, Eames is an interesting character. He is from an incredibly wealthy family. His grandfather created the Eames chair.
What's the Eames chair?
Well, the Eames chair is considered the most perfect chair. It is by it's the Harris Furniture Company or something like that.
They're always just referred to as Eames chairs. And
Eames
they
chairs.
are honestly a bit of furniture that's considered priceless.
It is $5,000 for the chair.
I thought Chairman Mao
Well,
made
there's
the
the
greatest
price.
chair ever.
Yeah.
No, he made the greatest desk ever. That's right.
Yes, the Eames chair is considered the greatest chair ever built. It is the perfect economic,
Economic.
yeah, I'm like everything
Economic,
involved. Like,
ergonomic.
yes, it is. It's
a
like
chair
this
for $5,000.
hydroponic,
What's so perfect about
supersonic.
economic?
It's
I
the
know.
Eames chair.
Look, I'm telling you, the Eames chair, I've seen an interview with this director. You can look up his Vimeo channel where he has a 20-minute video just talking about chairs where he says that this chair makes a political statement.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure LACMA actually just did an entire exhibit dedicated to Eames chairs.
Yeah, they are super
Was
famous.
there a do not touch sign?
No, do not sit.
I know somebody that got one once, and they were like super excited because they are $5,000 chairs.
It's like having a rollie.
It really is like it is.
You got an Eames chair?
Yeah, it's a big deal. Like if you go to any like rich person's house, they're probably gonna have an Eames chair at somewhere. I guess
They're a rich thing, and also if you're way into mid-century modern furniture and design, like Eames chairs are.
And if you
very
are,
popular.
check out our side podcast.
Yeah, called Eames and Into It.
So, do you think it's
Well
a coincidence that his name is Eames?
Not at all.
No, because
Oh, but wait, before we get off the Eames thing, fun fact, I went to a Christmas party one year and we burnt an Eames chair in a bonfire because everyone was really drunk.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So did the
The
person,
owner of that
it
chair
like
was
a-
also very drunk and love her. Her name is Chrissy. Chrissy just celebrated her 50th birthday. She was like, fuck it, throw it in the bonfire.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was a hell of a party.
$5,000 chair.
$5,000 up in flames.
Did it belong to her ex-husband?
I think it belonged to her dad,
Oh.
who was also at the party.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So, Chris, you said that you beg to differ. Have you sat in an Eames chair and
No, I just
complained about it?
No, I have not.
Though, if anyone would, it would be Chris Hughes. But
Yeah.
He probably would have. Well, I think he might have like slept in a Deem's chair, but sitting and sleeping.
Who, Hughes?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
probably.
wouldn't be surprised. Tanner, I'm assuming you've sat in one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It was
they're
on fire
they're-
at the
They're very
time, but,
nice.
yeah.
so next time you're shopping for an Eames chair, use promo code Grindbin.
So here's the
Get
thing.
$30 off.
He's from this very famous family, and he went to Harvard, the director of this movie.
Was he visiting his friend?
No,
I mean,
no, no. He
Harvard
went-
University?
Yeah, he got a bachelor's from Harvard, and he has also done a TED Talk.
What?
God.
What is
Oh, no.
the TED Talk on?
It's on art and design about chairs, of course. It's not a TED Talk in America. It's like a TED. It's like one of their. It's still TED, but it aired in another country.
It's the new Ted.
It's the new TED. Okay, here's the thing. He wrote his own bio on IMDb. Of course he did,
yes.
right? And I'm just going to give you one paragraph because it goes on for about 9 paragraphs, but he didn't space it as 9 paragraphs, so it's just a wall of fucking text. But here you go, because you get a little bit of his background. A compelling interest in images and their effect on one's imagination led Eames Demetrios to see more than 500 movies his senior year of high school. 500?
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. It's
I mean,
doable.
that's.
More than one a day. That's...
I'm not going to say he's a liar, but he's probably a liar.
It's
Yeah.
totally possible.
After graduating from college in the mid-1980s, Demetrios, he also conveniently leaves out the Harvard part of it. Demetrios moved from his native San Francisco to Los Angeles, where he honed his filmmaking skills at various film and TV production companies, mastering his craft. Eames Demetrios went on to create critically acclaimed award-winning films, videos, and interactive media projects. He still does a ton of art now. He does a lot of like weird documentaries. Like he just did a documentary you can watch on his Vimeo channel right now, which is about the Navy's chair, this famous Navy chair, and he shows all the 77 steps in making this Navy chair.
Critically acclaimed and award-winning films. Like he's already calling it for the Bennies.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like he's like, I just know right now. I'm a shoo-in.
Uh-huh. Well, guess what, guys? At the end of that bio, he left an email address. And you can bet your ass I emailed him and asked for a interview. But I don't think he's going to join us because then I started to find out how he's from this super well-known rich family. And I don't think he's going to be coming on the bin. But
Right.
maybe, right?
You never know.
We can
You
dream.
never know. It'll be our first TED Talk.
It is December.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a time of miracles. We get a live TED Talk for the guy who made Mind Trap.
Now, here's the weird thing is that, like, in his interviews and stuff, he has, like, this really thick French accent. But I'm like, but he's from San Francisco.
Right.
And his family's been here for decades, so...
I mean, you're in San Francisco long enough.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of like when I used to work at a pizza place in high school, right? There was...
He started speaking Italian after 3
No,
months.
well, yes, I did. I did do that actually. I was like Mario flipping pizzas after a while. But no, there was this like group of guys that called themselves the Yacht Club in a landlocked area where there's no sea. But they were in this city and they called themselves the city's Yacht Club. And they would come in. There's a lake, by the way, in the town. That's it. And they would come in and they go, "Oh, right, we'd like to order." And they'd do these fake British accents and shit. But when they got drunk, they would be American.
Fucking bread knockers.
I know, man.
Well, I was on tour with a guy, and he spoke fluent English. Whenever we needed him to speak French, he couldn't. But then he got really drunk and spoke fluent French. So there's the inversion of that. Maybe they were really British, and they just, the English accent came out.
You just gotta unlock it.
They did-
Well,
that's
I'm going to
true.
tell you this. I
gotta
urge
bread knock
you
it.
to watch a video with Eames because he talks like in broken English. And I'm like, dude, you're from San Francisco. You went to Harvard. Like, I assume that you speak very fluently, but he talks, chair is new mind. And you're like, okay, I don't know what.
Maybe they are so rich that although he was raised in San Francisco, they lived in a compound with only French servants. And so he only ever spoke French.
Maybe.
Makes sense.
So
I'll buy
that's
it.
where his accent
Yeah,
comes from.
I'll buy
I
it.
assume.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Case closed.
That's my headcanon for why Eames Demetrios has a French accent.
As Bobby would say, headcanon accepted.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So he has 12 directing credits, right? But you'll never see anything else besides this. And this is the only movie like this he ever made.
Well,
And
that's fine then.
By the way, he doesn't list it on any of his accomplishments. So, like, you go on his website, he'll list everything he's ever done, but nothing about Mind Trap. I
He doesn't
scrolled
list
through
his greatest accomplishment.
Look, man, I used Control F and looked through. I put in Mind Trap. It didn't have anything. So I started scrolling down the whole fucking 90 pages of shit that he's done, and I didn't see one
Even
thing
after
about
Control
Mind
F, what a waste of time.
I know, exactly. So, no, I don't think he's going to talk about it. The people who wrote this, Bill Hart, Jay Sri, they're not real. They have no other credits.
They don't exist.
I don't think they do. I don't know who wrote this, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was also Eames.
It probably is.
But the people who wrote this, man, they're on to something.
On to something? Or
A little bit of both, I
on
think.
something?
So we get into the cast. Guys, happy DanCember. Dan Haggerty, who's playing the character of Sergey in this movie. Yeah, that's right.
The comic relief.
Dan Haggerty, the
That's who
comic
you want.
relief as Sergey, the foreign director.
Is he supposed to be foreign?
Yeah.
Did anyone tell Dan?
I don't know. I think they told him, your name's Sergey. He's like, whatever. Do you have my check? Wait, no, I said cash. Oh, shit. Can I get one of those chairs? That's how he got him the movie. This is how Dan got his Eames chair, everybody. But here's the one you might know. Is Lyle Wagner.
Steve Trevor.
Yeah, so he plays the character of Ben. Who is he in this movie? Is it the dad? Or
No,
is,
he's the guy in the opening scene.
Okay, that's it.
He's
Yes,
the
that's
fellow
it.
actor friend
He's
of our
the
main
other
character.
Yes.
guy who can act in this movie.
The other guy, they got like Dan to be in 1 day worth of shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The two lead names on this film each had 1 day of shooting.
Oh, yeah, and 2 scenes.
Yeah.
But don't worry, guys. It is an amazing movie. And Dan, I would say, heightens it. You know, I love that
Well,
he's
you don't
in
have
it.
to tell them that because they
Right.
stopped and they went and watched it.
They
That's
know.
true.
And now
That's
they're
true.
back.
So everybody's
Welcome
on board.
back, everybody.
So, Bobby, what would you say he's most well known for?
Steve Trevor, which is the love interest on the Linda Carter Wonder Woman show.
He was also on Fantasy Island,
Mm-hmm.
Carol Burnett show, all sorts of stuff.
So both of the real actors in this movie had their heydays in the 1970s on television.
Yep. And they both wanted Eames chairs.
This whole production was just to get some people some Eames chairs.
Can you imagine, like, somebody goes over to Lyle's house, they're like, oh, you got an Eames chair? And he goes, you have no idea.
I've got a garage full.
That was instead of checks.
He gives
they're-
them out at
they're-
Halloween.
Fun size Eames chairs to the kids.
So Martha Kincaid, who plays Shayna, guess what? Only credit.
which really I thought was a little weird because she looked really familiar. I was like, I
Right.
see her.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen her in something.
Unless she used a different name, which I don't
Yeah.
blame her. I don't blame you. Thomas Elliott, who plays Robbie, as I just called Navy in the movie, he has 4 credits. This was his first movie, and then he was in a movie in 1991 called Year of the Gun, which is directed by John Frankenheimer and stars Andrew McCarthy and Sharon Stone. And I write, why would I want to watch an action movie with the annoying guy from Weekend at Bernie's? I was like, no thanks. I don't know. At one point when
He's
they
probably
thought,
playing like an everyman.
no, he's like the guy. You know, he's like running with a gun and
He's
everything.
supposed to be the Michael
I'm
Dudikoff
like,
of this story.
The fuck?
You know, like a lot of those actors kind of went for like, oh, this is going to be my my serious turn.
Yeah. It's a romance action drama with him and Sharon Stone. And I was like, nah.
It's like when Bill Murray tried to do The Razor's Edge.
It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
Because in our other movie, we'll be talking about Razor's
Oh,
Edge. Yeah. It's a big connection with our Patreon exclusive episode this month, guys, which we're not going to tell you what it is because it's not Christmas yet, but it will be revealed. It'll have a connection to Razor's Edge, believe it or not. He was also in a movie called Cyber Eden in 1992, which is about some old lady inventing a Fountain of Youth pill or something, but it turns you younger and younger until you like Benjamin Button, basically.
All right.
Kelsey. That's the name of an actor.
Yeah,
That's it.
No last name.
One name only.
Just up in lights.
Is the character
Kelsey.
of Mojo.
Oh.
He
So it's a
is.
man, not a woman,
Right.
as Kelsey.
Just like Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah. He has 9 credits. He was in 1983 Suburbia. He was in a movie called, in 1989, called Rollerblade Warriors Taken by Force.
I want to see that.
I want to see that as well. Yeah, I know that
I'm
cover.
trying to track that
But
one down.
Rollerblade is like a whole series of movies that guy made. There's like 6 of them or something.
Yeah, I think
I was
so.
looking it up going, huh.
It was very popular in the 90s.
Yeah, it must be, right?
Yeah.
Future, a warrior nun on roller skates must rescue a seer who is sacrificed by a band of mutants.
Excuse me, guy who wrote this blurb. They're rollerblades. How dare you?
Were they rollerblades?
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie
Because
yet.
maybe...
It's called Rollerblade Warriors, I assumed.
Maybe because Tanner said like it's so popular
Yeah.
that they came out with a new Maybe they invented rollerblades in the movie. They're like, what if you put all the wheels in a row instead of side by side? And they're
Like
like,
an
that's
ice skate.
fucking genius. And he was also in Frogtown too.
Yeah.
The other one.
Frogtown.
The other one.
Yeah. The other lady I have written down is Maureen Levette, who plays Sonia. 11 credits. Guys, by the way, tour de force performance in this movie,
She
right?
earns it.
11 credits. She was in a movie called Virgin High in 1991. I bet you can guess what that's about. And the last one I have written down is she was in a movie called Assault of the Party Nerds 2, The Heavy Petting Detective.
How is that not an Eddie Deason movie?
Nope, Deason's not in it, but go look up the cover because they really went for the Ace Ventura with that one,
Of
apparently.
course.
So, but guys, you have anything else to add before we get into this movie? Probably the most amazing movie we're ever going to talk about on the Grindbin.
No, let's jump right in.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So I said, it's a great start with any YouTube video you watch for a movie when it starts with that VHS play icon as it comes on the screen. I feel like Vinegar Syndrome and all those ones should still do that on the.
Should throw one on
That
there.
would be fucking
Yeah.
cool.
It is just sunshine on your face.
Because I'm like, it brings me back, right? You found this at a Hollywood video down at the bottom of it. You're like, what the fuck is Mind Trap? And who's Dan Haggerty?
It's like the cover's all sun faded and there's a cobweb stuck to it.
Yeah, and you're like, man, this is before Photoshop for sure, right? They just somehow placed random photos.
This is
of people.
Grandma's scrapbooking.
Grandma Haggerty made this cover.
So, guys, this movie starts with a paper being tossed on a porch, a lady asleep in a bed, a cat under a bed, right? And then a strange man is breaking into a safe,
We're building tension.
right? There's a giant-ass safe right next to a bed where this lady's sleeping.
That's how you do it. You leave your loose diamonds in a giant safe next to your bed.
Now, are they diamonds or are they just glass?
Well,
'Cause
they're
it
probably
look-
just glass. Broken sugar
Real
glass.
life, yeah.
Because,
Maybe keep it as safe.
here's the
It's
thing. Is
petrified
like,
water.
maybe you can get fake diamonds from the prop house, or you could just spring for fake glass from the prop house, which I'm sure is cheaper because it doesn't. It looks like something you'd see at like a Mardi Gras parade or something. Like what diamonds are flat? They're just like flat little pieces of glass that he takes out and then puts in a bag, and he's like, got the diamonds or something. Like, oh, is that what it is? And then
He starts creeping out of there, but wouldn't you know it, he steps on the cat's tail.
Bobby, he pulls out that gun.
Yeah.
And he says, now for the fun part, which I was like, wait, hold on a second. And this starts the series of insane lines that I read in this movie. I've never written more quotes.
And we also
right?
get flash cuts of this 18-wheeler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You
we
get
keep
the
cutting
Mack
to
truck.
like a Mack
what
truck.
the connection
Yeah.
there is.
I was like, is this crashing into the house?
Is this a
building
metaphor?
Yeah.
Like, this truck's coming.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, oh, somebody's coming home. Dan's coming home.
Right.
Right?
Truck driving Dan.
Yeah, because I'm like, Dan Haggerty got him as a truck driver, right?
Yeah.
No, but he says, now for the fun part. I'm like, wait, hold on. If he was going to kill the lady, then why did he do the whole sneaking thing?
Right.
Like, just shoot her
Well, you need to
before.
get those extra mission points in Hitman.
That's true.
to
and
get
then
it
you
first, and then you do the
dispose.
deed. Yeah, you get extra points.
So yeah, he opened the safe. Now for the fun part, right, Bobby? And then he steps on a cat's tail.
Which, the cat, meow, and it wakes the lady up.
But also at the same time, he's sneaking through the house and he keeps going, Daddy's coming home tonight.
Well, that's what he says when she wakes up.
That's what I thought maybe Dan was coming home.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Oh,
he's
yeah.
in that Mack truck or
Yeah.
something.
And Dan comes in and says, "Daddy's home."
I'm just writing, what's going on at this point? I'm very confused. All of a sudden, she wakes up and they have like witty banter.
She immediately starts quipping at him.
Yeah, and they go back and forth for a while. And at one point she says, sorry, Nigel. And he goes, my name's not Nigel. And I'm just, at this point, just at a complete loss as to what I'm watching or what's going on.
You're just intrigued now. You're like, why isn't his name Nigel?
This is the part of the movie where it's like you're watching someone drive their car slowly into a lamppost. You are watching it and you know what's going to happen, but you don't know why it's happening.
Yeah. And you're also just sitting there in your mind going, oh, no.
Yeah. You're like,
Oh,
Surely
no.
that guy's not going to hit that lamppost.
They see the lamppost,
He's heading
right?
right for it.
Just,
He's not going
what
fast
is he
enough to
doing?
not
Yeah,
notice
it's
that there's a
going
lamppost
very
right there.
slow.
And now we are passing the point of no return when you're just going, oh, nope. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Huh.
And right as he says, my name's not Nigel, she goes, ha! And kicks a cat in his face.
Yeah, the old hairball
And
special.
I love that
That
part.
was great.
Then he runs into another room. She's in the kitchen where
She starts going through the cupboards.
This barren kitchen, though. There's nothing in the
it's like
cupboards.
it's
or
like an
anything.
IKEA kitchen. You
Yeah.
know, like the sample ones you can walk through.
And then the robber, right? He comes up and he goes, never buy a house from someone named Mother Hubbard.
This is Steve Trevor from Wonder Woman, by the way.
And I'm just going, what?
Yeah.
Wait, What?
And in response to that, she throws a phone book at his face.
Yeah.
And he
goes,
gives like a Fonzie reaction. He's hey.
Never buy a house from someone named Mother Hubbard.
Hey.
Sorry, Nigel.
And then he corners her, right? And he says, we're going to have to disguise this.
As a rape, murder, jewel heist. And she says, but it is a rape, murder, jewel heist. To which he responds, it'll make the disguise all the more effective now, won't it?
Which I genuinely laughed at that. I was
Yeah.
like, that's pretty funny.
Like, what are we doing?
Well, then
I
it
don't
gets
know what's
weirder because she goes full Stockholm.
And is this truck going to plow through this place?
Yeah, what is going on?
Like, why do we keep cutting back to him and back truck
I thought
coming
the
at
truck
us?
was going to knock the guy out.
The tension's building.
Like,
Yeah.
crash right through the wall?
Yeah.
Rolling vengeance style?
Yeah.
They say a line, and then you cut to the truck. You're like, what? What is happening? And then all of a sudden, she Stockholms this shit by going like, yeah, bring it on. And then lays down
Yeah,
on
and
the
I
couch.
started thinking, I have my notes there. Is this a kink thing? Because when she's like, come on then.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like,
I'm like, are they going to fuck?
yeah, and well, they are because he says, I'm going to bring out my old 18-wheeler.
And she goes, training wheels don't count. I'm like, you guys are lost in your quips. Like, this shit's not even making sense anymore.
But it is a rape, murder, jewel heist.
Make the disguise all that more effective now, won't it?
Can't argue with that. Come on then.
Get ready for my 18-wheeler.
Training wheels don't count.
Then she trips him by a carpet, right? He gets out, and she gets the gun. She shoots him and then, guys, she's tossing him out the front door.
Yeah, she opens the sliding door
We
from
got
the
a
bedroom.
sweet reveal.
Yeah, so, yes, it's a sliding door, and who wants to take this one?
You know all those scenes of the Mack truck that we've been referring to? We thought that
establishing
truck,
shots.
that truck is headed down the highway. It's coming toward this house.
And you should say, though, when you see the truck, you only see the front.
We only see the front.
Yeah.
It has the wide load banner.
Like
Yep,
the
wide
grill.
load.
You see the grill of it.
Optimus
right?
Prime
Yes.
coming to save the day.
Sliding door opens. Surprise reveal. This house is on the back of that truck.
And we are rolling down the freeway. She's sleeping in like the model house that they're taking over to the to the complex.
Where they're also transporting their diamonds.
Yeah, they're gonna go put that house on the burial ground. They moved all the tombstones.
Yeah.
So none of wait, she opens the sliding door. You're like,
And this is the
what?
first instance where we get this the ADR problem with this
Oh,
movie.
Jesus.
Which voices are coming over the track, and they're
Yeah.
so much louder than all the other dialogue. I thought like. We were talking about this before the show started, Mike. We thought that the guy who uploaded this on YouTube was going to start talking over it.
Yeah, like
I was
you
like,
said,
who
he
the
was
fuck said that?
Doing
You know?
a running commentary or something,
That
right?
sounds like a commentary track.
like the riff tracks guys
Yeah.
are here, but they have no jokes.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
filling in dialogue where it should go.
By the way, it's not the actors that are doing their own ADR.
half
It's
the time it doesn't
clearly-
sound like the same people.
No.
or in the
it's-
same room.
There are
Who has
moments
ever-
when no one has moved their lips. They just felt like
Yeah.
they needed to add a line here.
It's whatever delivery guy came with the lunch that day. They're like, could you just say this into that mic real quick for us? Thank you.
Where all the regular dialogue is at 6 or 7, this shit's at 12.
It was very interesting
Yeah.
when they ordered Chinese takeout.
And so then he's being pushed out this sliding glass door, and you see the road moving and everything. And because she says something like "not in a million years," and then he
because
says,
he had said that you wouldn't use that gun in a million years right before she shoots him in the
"Yeah,"
arm.
and then he says,
Wait a minute. A million years is just a figure of speech. In geologic time, it's only a couple of seconds.
right before she pushes him out the trailer, he lands on the road, and she says,
Another rug-related death.
Because he had been standing on the rug right by the sliding glass door. She pulled that out from under him to get him to flop out.
"Okay, now I got questions."
They worked
guys.
real hard for that line.
Yeah.
Did you know that they delivered the LA Times to moving Mack trucks?
That paperboy is fucking impressive.
Right?
Like, that's the bonus level, right?
The end of the scene is her picking up the paper,
Yeah.
and then she goes inside.
I had questions too. How did he get in?
Yeah.
Was there did Vin Diesel roll up next to it in a muscle car and he dove onto the thing?
I wrote the same thing. I'm just, how did he get in?
How was there
Who's
a B&E on the
driving?
back of a truck?
What is the situation with this truck? Like, are we now in, like, this is a new style of commuting where you could just have your home on the truck and then you could just go to work and wake right up? I don't know what's going on.
But none of this matters, though, Mike, because then we pan out and realize that we're watching a movie within a movie.
Shocking reveal number 2.
Bam.
And guess what, guys? Who made this movie?
Why, none other than the man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour. One Dan Haggerty.
Yeah.
Sergey.
So Dan Haggerty made this movie. He's a director. He's dressed like a director. You know, he's got like some weird print.
He is dressed like Joe Esterhaus.
He kind of is, yeah.
Yeah.
And in true Haggerty fashion, I had to rewind his first line 4 times. And I still don't know what the fuck he said.
Well, Shane, I had a screening for you, but never again. No Nevadans.
Everybody is way louder than Dan.
Yeah, I heard he when's lunch?
Even his weird ADR is only at like a 7.
Yeah, it really is.
Like they even calm that one down.
So the actress is in the movie. She's all happy, right? The lady who's in it. So Shayna. Okay, she was the lady in the movie.
Our heroine who kicks cats at people and throws phone books in their faces is just an actress.
Yeah, she's having a
working for
conversation
Sergey.
with Dan in regular volume, and Dan is responding so low that you need to turn up your headphones, and you're just listening to him. You're like, what did he say? Oh my God, somebody else talked.
It's that scene in Insidious where she hears the mumbling on the baby monitor and she's holding it up to her head, and then suddenly it yells at her.
And then we introduce the character of Navy, right?
Oh,
Who's
God.
her boyfriend.
Her boyfriend, Robbie, who's having a going away party. And Haggerty starts at, or Sergey, we're probably just going to call him Haggerty.
Well, we'll call him Haggerty.
Haggerty's talking about where they're having the party, and he hopes that it's not in that shitty little apartment they got.
Yeah.
Because he says that, I thought the Queen of the Bee should have a nicer place to stay in a small cell like that.
And so Navy's pissed, right?
He catches wind of him calling their apartment that this guy works hard on a small cell, and he says, listen, buddy, the Navy doesn't pay us a lot of cash to defend the likes of you. They pay us in freedom.
I was like, well, no, actually, they do pay you to protect all citizens, but that's fine. He's like, except for Dan. Except for Dan. He's got
for Sergey.
And I'm like, where is this hostility coming from? Like, I guess we've established that these characters don't like each other.
There's a big backstory.
Yeah. I wonder if this is going to get filled in.
His name is ethnic, so therefore he's biased.
And here's the thing is that the character of Navy, Robbie, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody hates him.
Literally to a man, everyone in this movie hates this character.
I mean, his girlfriend / fiance hates him. Like
because immediately her sister or mother is like, what a jerk about this guy, and they have to warn him like, Robbie, don't be such a pill.
Yeah, and Shayna just responds all the time when people are like, yeah, and that boyfriend here is a real dick. She's like, oh, I know. Isn't he great, though?
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the story?
And so then Dan, he comes back, and he starts asking, he's like, talk to you in private? She's like, what? Dan, what? And he goes, go talk to you in private.
You're talking to me pretty much in private right now. Like, am I allowed to hear this conversation?
So then they go over, and he goes, hey, look, I got a friend who's filming this anti-terrorist commercial.
And he's trying to get her an audition for him. He's filming name. And the guy's name is Roger Ratka, but because of Dan's mumbling, I thought he said Roger Rabbit.
His name's Roger Rabbit. He's making an anti-terrorist.
Roger's very anti-terrorist.
Can you imagine that anti-terrorist commercial? Roger Rabbit directed that shit.
Him and Baby Herman running around.
You remember that 9/11? The Roger Rabbit 9/11 terrorist commercial?
Do you remember the cartoon where like the tower bends but doesn't burst?
It's like a rubber
Attack
the tower. Oh, yeah.
Yes, I do.
Sends it flying all the way back to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Roger Rabbit 2.
The second tower.
Oh, God.
The dip doesn't melt steel beams.
We learned. Okay, here's the thing, though. This anti-terrorist guy,
He's
right?
a conservative media.
Can we just say, guys, for real, Mr. Crown is in this movie.
Oh yes,
he is. I started calling him Bigwig, and then when you finally see him, I'm like, holy fuck,
this is Mr. Crown.
Yeah.
It is him.
That's our boss, man. Careful.
We have talked about him for so long. I had no idea he was in a movie, and no wonder he buried this shit. Because he finally appears on screen, and I'd be embarrassed too, with the shit that he does in this movie. Wow.
But she and Dan are talking about it. Like, oh, I think I know that guy. And she's like, oh, yeah, didn't he do that commercial Red Dawn over Massachusetts?
And Dan goes, yeah. He's a really important guy. He even has a 2-minute timer on his phone, even for the president. And you're like, wait.
Why would the president be calling? Okay.
But apparently, Mr. Crown has a 2-minute timer on every call so that if it goes past 2 minutes, it just, auto hangs up?
He has a little egg timer next to the phone.
Sorry, I went through a tunnel.
It's just, that's it. You
know? He crunched the numbers, and in about 2 minutes, someone will accuse him of something. He's like, gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's like, yeah, Reagan, you got 2 minutes. Go.
Well,
bye.
Like,
so the actress is reluctant. She's like, I don't know. That guy sounds kind of scary and everything. And Dan's like, no, it's great. I'll get you audition. It's a great deal and everything. And she's like, well, I couldn't understand you, Dan, but I'm sure it's good. He goes, yeah, it's more than a movie. It's like a museum piece, you know.
yeah, whatever you're talking about, it sounds nice.
It's like, okay, Dan. So then we cut to a commercial for Jenkins for Senate.
Now, we don't even know it's a commercial just yet, because what we first cut to is a white teppanyaki chef with the word wolf on his hat, just clanging away and smiling.
That's true,
damn.
yeah. In the darkest kitchen of all time is what you're thinking? Because you're like, man, if he is cooking teppanyaki,
it's like an old Doctor Who set. It's just like blank background, and this guy's standing on a box. But then from the darkness comes this guy talking to the camera, and this whole thing that he has is, to me, the flag is literally alive. If an old lady and the flag were drowning, I'd save the flag. Being an American is being tough. Guns don't kill people, liberals do. And then he shoots the cameraman.
Yeah, shoots the camera. Which I gotta say, I was like, holy
Jenkins
shit, I'm ready
said
to
it.
vote. What the fuck?
My blood's boiling.
I mean, I started getting out my absentee ballot or something. I'm like, can I stop? And then I go, well, it's certainly effective.
Yeah,
Shooting
man.
the gun, you know? I kind of like that. Like, they should do more political commercials like that. People should just be like, fuck you, right? When it cuts, you know?
First person, just blam.
I was watching this. I got hard.
You ran a flag up it.
So then we cut to Mr. Crowd sitting in his office. Okay, now here's the other thing. So Mr. Crowd's sitting at a soundboard, but that teppanyaki chef is in the sound booth.
Like he's about to drop some lyrics.
Yeah, and apparently, like, you think that he's getting sounds of him cutting, but
turns out that guy's actually making his lunch.
Yeah, he is apparently
He
in
just
the sound
has his
booth.
own personal teppanyaki chef, Benihana style, making him a little pineapple volcano in the sound booth.
He's on the phone, right, on his 2-minute timer. He's apparently talking to Jenkins, and I write just using lots of choice language, like the other F word and all sorts of stuff, you know.
Look, Congressman, positives are for those little media suckheads that jerk off to while we slam dunk this Nazi communist crypto faggot queer bait Miller.
Yeah, but
trust me. Look, if it worked for the president, it'll work for you.
I guess so.
Okay, yeah. You got 10 seconds more. I got a 2-minute maximum on phone calls. Now, make your point.
Well, if Atwater says...
Right, okay, great. I love you, right? Don't ever change. Bye.
Apparently, he makes this secretary of his work topless.
Yep.
Because...
we got nudity.
Yeah, a woman comes in, which is just exactly what you'd imagine happens in the Crown office.
Right.
It says in that that application, it goes, do you have a problem with nudity? And there's a checkbox that says yes or no. And if you marked yes, he's going to be like, well, that's a good... Or if you mark no, he's like, well, I'd love to. I'm glad. I'm very glad you said that because we got a little bit of an interesting policy around here where apparently his secretary works with a... Well, she has overalls on. But
Right.
There's no shirt underneath, so the boobs just come out.
She's like ready to get milked or something.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because then they have the whole conversation about...
Well, that is... Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, you mean that was literal? Holy shit.
Yeah.
At this point in this movie, I just accept everything is really happening and everything is literal.
It all must be. So yeah, let's get into that. He's admiring her breasts, and then it starts explaining that the way he stays so young, not unlike
Caligula.
Not unlike Caligula.
Dracula.
Not unlike Dracula.
Dorian Gray.
Not unlike Dorian Gray. These guys all drank breast milk.
Okay, so apparently, not only does she have to come to work topless, but she has to pump it out.
That's a fun subway ride.
Yeah. She's just got him under a towel.
It's natural. Don't be a prude.
Just yelling at passersby.
Humans
This is
gotta
my
eat."
son.
Guys, this is like 5 minutes into this movie.
This movie has not even begun yet.
I was actually more outraged that she was like visually sitting on the console of this booth because that looks expensive. Like,
That's what,
you don't sit on the
anyone who's
console.
been in one of these sound booths, you're like, what are you doing?
I know, like you're gonna mess up the mix.
So hold on.
Benihana chef's gonna have to start over. He didn't bring enough little shrimp.
No, it's not.
In the ADR, that's when he says, when not Mr. Crowd, but whoever was recording his line says that line, he goes, why don't you come over to my place for a little mother's milk?
And he says, maybe later on tonight you could play a wet nurse.
Jesus, so you're right.
Yeah, she's gonna sponge him down and then breastfeed him.
This man is
It's called fetishes.
interesting.
Yeah.
And so he starts looking through headshots.
Yeah.
For his next big commercial, and he's literally doing he's throwing them over his shoulder as he looks at each one. It's very cartoonish. I'm going like, nah, maybe, woof. That must be Buzz's girlfriend.
That's a typical night at Crown Studios.
And then, not unlike the Joker noticing Vicky Vale, he's like, stop the press.
Yeah.
Who's this?
So then, it's Shayna, right?
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden we cut to Shayna, and she is talking to some friends
Who were at this at Robbie's going away party, just fucking macking him.
So this is the thing. We're still at the going away screening. Well, no, we aren't at the going away party.
This is the going away
party.
party.
The going away party is later in the movie when they have the whole
Oh, no, that's
concert
right.
and everything.
We are still at the movie screening because she tells the makeout couple, save it for the party, guys.
Yes, so we're still at
when
the
we throw
screening.
my boyfriend his going away party, why don't you two fuck in the hallway?
So here's another thing. So Dan, okay, hold on, because he said, I'll make sure that you get an audition, and then we cut to him having her headshot, but then we cut back to that same scene that Dan was in saying, I
think Dan sent in her headshot saying, consider this girl for an audition.
Okay,
and this
so
was,
within seconds.
This was Mr. Crown getting the headshot.
Because I was like, wait, now we did a time jump back to the same screening. And
I am fine with either of those explanations.
Okay, so we go back, and there's a projectionist, right? Yeah, and he's making out with some girl. She walks away. Shayna walks away. And these lines of dialogue. Okay, apparently this all happened in the past, and are we going to learn about it? They say this lady turns to the projectionist, and she goes, they never found the body.
Nope, never found her dad's body.
And then we cut. And I write,
Wait,
what?
go back.
Stop it right now. What?
This is the point where you've watched that car crash into that lamppost, and then you've watched the driver back up, and then just slowly go back into the lamppost.
Son of a bitch, he's going right back for the
And
lamppost.
First you were surprised. Now you're really just confused, but you're not looking away. You're still watching this.
A little concerned for the guy.
Yeah.
Like, does he need assistance?
Should I go over there?
Should I drive into a lamppost?
Maybe we've been doing it wrong. You start wondering if everyone's supposed to be doing it.
Thanks, Shayna. We'll see you tonight.
Oh, excellent. See you there. Bye.
Okay, bye.
They never found the body?
Nope. They never found her dad's body.
People are listening to the show right now, and if they have not watched this movie, they're like, what? What are they talking about? This is demon cop levels of incomprehensive. Like, I don't know what's going on, but apparently Shayna's father's body was never found. He's dead, right? Cut to an old man in a hospital gown, right?
Who has his makeup looks as though he was an extra in Threads, like he just survived a nuclear war. He's pasty and old. He's got dark circle under his eyes, and he's dirty.
He's the guy from the Unforgiven video wearing a hospital gown.
And I guess we're in a hospital, but right now we're in a bathroom, right? So we're in a bathroom, and there's a guy taking a shit. And this hospital gown guy comes in and starts breaking into a paper towel dispenser.
Yeah.
And then the guy taking a shit goes like, oh, God damn it, it's you, isn't it? And then this old man takes a rope and ties this man's legs to another stall.
No, yeah, he takes an extension cord and he wraps it through the guy's pants that are down.
Yeah.
And so the guy would have to take off his shoes to get the pants off. So he's caught. He's been hooked like a fish.
He's been hogtied.
He sure has.
Dare you not go
been
barefoot
put
in
out
a
of
public
action.
bathroom?
God, no.
Fuck no.
I mean, you guys thought at this point like we cut to another movie, right?
Yeah, I
like
thought we
another
flipped
Dan
channels.
movie. Because
Nah,
I'm like,
I'm
what?
on board with everything.
It's all
I'm
makes
watching
sense.
that car go back and forth into that lamppost.
This guy's gonna hit the lamppost a third time.
Yeah.
Then guys, the old man walks out of the bathroom and starts sneaking through a hall, and then all of a sudden you cut to Shayna going, "Daddy, Daddy, are you here?" And then we cut to a man kissing an arrow.
I forgot about that part.
This is really happening. He kisses an arrow, and she goes, "Oh no!" as he puts it into a bow and shoots her in the back with an arrow. And she falls on the ground.
And crazy old man is like, "Oh no, Shayna!" And then, whoa, shocking reveal. It's a movie on television.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then here's even weirder.
My Inception top is still spinning.
All of a sudden, we see it's a movie that a guard is watching, right?
Yeah, the security for this hospital is watching this old movie.
And then a lady comes up who's a doctor and goes, "That's my sister dying."
Yeah.
And he goes, "No shit, they play this movie all the time."
And then the old man at the back of the hall who's watching this goes, "Ginger." And then she goes, "Dad?" And we're just, wait, what the fuck is going on? She runs over to this hallway and he's gone. He sneaks into some room. By the way, he took a key from that paper towel thing. And from my knowledge, he uses the key to get into this room.
Sure.
Is what I thought, right?
I'll accept that.
So he sneaks into this room and he goes, clapper on. And he claps his hands and like lights are going on and off.
Oh man, nothing like a good clapper bit.
Yeah.
Then this lady Ginger comes in the room and she claps the lights on. She also says the words. Apparently for the clapper to work, you have to say clapper on and then clap.
Which is them getting the commercial wrong. Do you remember the commercial, Mike?
Yeah,
No.
I had a clapper.
It was clap on, clap, clap, clap off, clap, clap.
You don't have to
clap
say
on,
that.
Clap
No, you
off,
don't.
the clapper.
They make it like you have to say Alexa clap.
Yeah.
Okay, Google. Clap these lights on.
She goes clap on and then claps.
The writers,
Yeah, the writer.
the non-existent writers of this movie, thought you have to tell the clapper.
This script was found like an abandoned baby. Like this was found on the doorstep of a studio, and they're like, "The fuck." Oh my god!
This crap was.
This is the Moses. Baby Moses of scripts.
It is the baby Moses of scripts.
I'm going to say it's the Quasimodo.
It was in a basket underneath the Cobblepot
It did.
baby.
It just came down the river in a basket.
They lined his basket with this script.
And they were like, this is, we'll throw it out. And they go, well, should I read it? And they go, yeah, whatever. Open page 1 and we'll see. And then they go, boss, you got to read this. You really got to read this.
Hasn't that Eames guy been coming around asking to direct a movie?
Ginger, right, goes in the room. She goes, clapper on. And she starts clapping.
Go, gadget, clapper.
And then the old man starts also clapping. The lights just flicker on and off, and everybody's confused. And she's like, the fuck's going on? And then all of a sudden she goes, Dad, is that you? And he's just like dirty behind the counter. He goes, it's me. It's me. We have to talk quick or I'll die again.
And while they're having this conversation, they cut away real briefly to a guard getting needled in the neck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Someone, Agent 47 to the guard.
Yeah, and I mean,
All right.
at this point, you're just watching this going, wait, this is very hard to follow. Very hard, but I'm on board.
But yeah,
100%.
He warns her. He says, I'm going to be dead again tonight. They've taken over the mind control division. Like, what mind control
Seriously,
division?
it just comes out of nowhere.
What movie is this?
And then we cut to the guy who was shitting, right? I called him Shitter for a long time, but his name is Mojo, which I think is a better
Sergeant
name.
Shitter.
Yeah. So Mojo Sergeant Shitter. He goes, where is that old fart, right? And he's dressed all black with a gun. He looks like a terrorist or something, right? And then all of a sudden some like Russia lady shows up. This Russian lady named Sonia shows up. She's like, where is man we looking for?
Yeah, she's very Natasha.
Yes, very. And then
Good plan for Moose and Squirrel.
All of a sudden, yeah, the guy's drugged by the needle.
And Dad gives Ginger the key that he took from the paper towel dispenser in the John. And he's like, you gotta protect this.
He says the thing about mind control. I'm writing this definitely goes to the top.
Yeah.
And then a guard, very bad ADR, goes, I'm gonna go to the rescue or something, and like runs for it. And then these terrorists, I guess, who apparently took a shit at the hospital before they did the terrorizing.
Well, yeah, you gotta be ready.
Could you imagine?
You don't
them,
take the stage without first, getting comfortable.
like you're saying, they sneak in Agent 47 style, and one guy goes, wait, hold on, no, I gotta take a shit.
They're like, damn it, Mojo.
So can you wait before we do the last part of the mission? Or it'll only be a minute.
Like, all right, the bomb is set. It goes off in 30 seconds. He's like, I better push hard then, because I got one on deck, guys.
I mean,
I'll meet you outside.
I ate Mexican tonight, so get ready.
This isn't like the food back in Russia.
He says, by the way, that the case is being closed. The dad says this to Ginger. He gives her the key.
Yeah,
right?
her elderly father says to her.
He goes. Here's this key, all right? And they're closing this case faster than Mother Teresa's legs.
They'll close the case quicker than Mother Teresa's legs.
And she just sort of nods. Like, that isn't the weirdest shit to say to your own daughter.
Yeah. And then the terrorists come in with guns and they just shoot Dad Murphy style.
Oh, he gets full
like
on
a
RoboCop.
minute of them just shooting
full
him.
Murphy.
But there's no squibs.
No.
So it's literally just flashing lights on the dad's face. Like, goes, ah!
For a while. They
For
empty,
way
they
too
empty
long.
every fucking clip they have. I think at some point somebody reloads.
They go outside and get more guns. They roll in the big Gatling gun like a Western.
It's like a hot shot
Turn
style
the
joke,
crank.
you know?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it's
God,
like,
yeah.
But the
it's
thing that makes this
serious.
movie so great, spoiler alert, this movie's fucking great. If you haven't noticed by now, is that they deadpan it all.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Like, they're
Yeah.
taking this so serious.
Oh, and we're going to be playing a lot of dialogue from this. But at one point, Sonia goes, well, Mojo Shitter looks at her and he goes, do we ice the girl too? And she's like, of course we ice girl. You know, and then all of a sudden that guard that was coming to the rescue runs and he goes, hey, what's going on in here?
Hey, what is going on here? Full on Mr. Belding shows up.
And I go, you know, what's really interesting is that this man, his voice sounded very different than that ADR in the previous scene. Very different.
Jesus.
Rinnard here.
This is Dobson.
Hello, Dobson. What's up?
Guard 34's alarmed. Do you want me to
Guard 34? No, you don't have to. I'll check it out.
What's going on? Who's in command here?
I am, sir. Commander Morris Johnson. Attached to the Navy Special Forces, first class.
Who's the dead man?
Colonel Shane Bedlow.
Scientist?
Apparently the terrorist shitter, right, Mojo, works for the Navy?
Yeah.
Because when the guard comes in, he goes, oh, who's that dead guy? It doesn't matter. That guy works for the Navy. He's fine. Because
Hey, I know this guy.
Ginger goes, they shot my dad! And
He
he's
goes,
like,
whoa.
this is a Navy guy. He's cool. He wouldn't shoot anybody. I don't know about this other lady, but she must be in the Navy too. But you know what? You, doctor lady, you in this whatever hospital we're in, I guess, Navy hospital, you're the bad guy. And he takes her out and he goes, we're going to go
This
talk
thing's
about this.
open and shut.
Yeah. And so then Ginger says, you know this isn't true. And Bobby, Mojo the shitting terrorist, responds with...
Well, because they mentioned that, they heard... there's a mention of hearing the father's voice.
Yeah, and that he defected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this guy says, you know your father was an accomplished ventriloquist. What?
That I wrote the same thing. What?
And I got to say, I spat out the water I was drinking while the dummy was singing. I could not believe it. The dummy and I just looked at each other and looked back at the screen.
I screamed while I was watching this movie with headphones on. I go, what?
I guess Wilson just got in the way.
That's all lies. They kidnapped him. Besides, we heard the guard while we were talking.
You know your father was an accomplished ventriloquist.
Yes, but...
Sir, I ask you, what kind of man would lie to his own daughter?
Let's get up, lady.
Like, at this point, that is beyond anything that's already happened in this movie. You're like, wait, stop. What are we talking about?
So while he says that, Ginger hides this key, right? And then the guard takes her away because she's the one in trouble.
And the guard says, you know, a daughter will say a lot of things to protect her father's memory. It's sweet, but it's wrong. As he's carrying her out of there as clearly a liar.
Then we cut to the movie, right? Which is the movie that guard was watching at the original scene.
Yes, where Shayna is dying from an arrow wound.
She's still dying. Yeah. 5 minutes later, she's crawling with this arrow in her back.
Hell of a performance.
Yeah. And here we go, which is amazing. We fade in to the same scene, but now present day, where Shayna's there with Navy boyfriend and her mother.
For the going away party.
And they go, oh, is that movie where you died right there, right, with the arrow in your back? And she goes, yeah.
No, what she says is something like, yeah, it took me a real long time to die. It's like, wait, now the movie's fucking with us. Because that's the most self-aware line at that point.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What's happening, man?
This movie got so out of control it became self-aware.
Yes. There are so many sound clips for this theme song that we can plug in. It's like ruthless.
Do you know what my favorite part of this whole scene, though, is? While they're having an important conversation between Navy boyfriend and Shayna, there is a dance crew behind them. Like the cast from Breakin' is right behind them.
Jabberwockies
and like,
are doing windmills.
Here's the thing. Either it was intentional or they couldn't get these guys to move. And they're like, we're going to film a movie now.
I want to believe
move?
it's the latter.
And they're like,
they went, could you guys move? And they're like, no.
Yeah. They're like, no, we got here first, man. And they're like, but we want to film our movie.
I like the Casio keyboard sound effects they gave the dance.
Yeah, because they're like, well, if they're going to be in the movie, we got to add some fucking music or something. By the way, it's louder than the dialogue because all you can hear is like boom, 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 boom. Well, a guy's doing like a little, you said Jabberwocky.
We're popping and locking.
Yeah. And so then the Navy guy says something about how her dad was developing some science where he would connect memories to holograms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Shayna
so
says...
you can confront memories in the flesh, Mike.
And Shayna goes, sometimes...
Not what holograms are.
Right. But sometimes... And Shayna goes, sometimes I think, Navy, that you care more about my dad's science than you do about me.
And he responds to that by going, doll!
Red flag, guys. This plot is starting to clip on. A red herring.
Oh. But she says, Tanner, that people only want to use the dream room for bad and not for good. And I write, dream room?
Well, we can't use the dream room for bad, you guys.
Can we,
right, movie?
Please slow down.
Is this guy gonna hit that pole again?
When they said dream room, by the way, I was thinking we were going back to our Freddy's Nightmares episode.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, we know all
at
about that.
At this point in the film, I would have completely accepted the Skeleton Man gag.
I would have accepted Freddy Krueger showing up at some point. Like Dan does his own Freddy impression or something, and later in this movie, I would have bought it, man.
But she explains that even Renegade KGB are after the damn dream room.
Yeah.
Like, they?
Everybody wants his dream room, man.
I guess.
So then we cut to the guard. He's locking up Ginger in an office until he finds out what the hell this movie's about. Is what I write. Then Shayna
he needs to go talk to the director.
Yeah, he's like, we got to figure this shit out. So Shayna's now talking to her mom, and she says to her mom, she goes, "You want him dead, don't you?"
And she says, well, I mean, her response is as bonkers. She goes, well, that's a bit strong, but if I found him in a freezer, I'd serve him for lunch.
They're talking about her fiance.
Seriously.
Like she would Sweeney Todd this motherfucker. You give me one reason, and this guy's going in the oven.
She doesn't even say, by the way, he's not that bad. She goes, oh, I know. We haven't even set a date to get married yet, and I don't even know if we're going to have kids. I mean, this guy. And she goes, he's a fucking tapeworm.
Yeah,
he's a tapeworm.
And what's great is she responds to her mom going, he's a worm. To Mom, if you don't like him, just say so.
And she says, he's a fucking tapeworm.
She's screaming it at you.
And then I write in my notes, I go, Shayna likes Navy because, and then I wrote, well, I don't know. I'm thinking back, and she hasn't said any redeeming qualities at this point. She just
it's like an ellipses with no follow-up. She's like, sure, he's a terrible person most of the time.
Is it a way out?
I did this as an exercise for myself. I was like, think, Mike, think. There's something she said, and I was like, nope, nothing. Nothing at all.
Just the significant other assigned to her at the beginning of this film.
It's because Eames said, fiance, you love him. She goes, why? He's an asshole.
Such is love.
It's a beautiful, mysterious thing.
We got to a sign that says roast beef, deli, Philly, Sam.
And that's the code to all of this.
Yeah. Does that mean anything?
At this point, were you looking for clues in it? What is this movie about?
I paused the movie and I wrote down every one of those words. I'm like, is that a clue?
See, you do. You thought it was going to be important at some point.
Yeah.
You're like,
roast
I'm going to need
beef,
this.
Deli, Philly, Sam.
This is crucial to this escape room that we're watching.
This film is a fucking escape room.
Like, okay, I got 2 more minutes. I got to figure out a way out of this.
You're right. Holy shit.
Chris, if they had just retitled this as Is It a Way Out, it would have been fucking perfect.
Yeah.
So, no, we cut to it like some sort of, this is the going away party, but before the party.
Setting up the going away party. And enter our man Dan.
Yeah.
In some sweet suspenders.
Yeah, he came early. Apparently, he's like, "Oh, I came early to help you set up for the party," and then he blows a balloon.
He just sits in a chair and just blows up a balloon.
Yeah, which they had to pay him extra to do that. Dan, you got to do something. If you're not going to stand on the chair and hang a streamer, can you at least blow up a balloon?
And he starts asking questions about the top secret dream room nobody knows about.
He's like, what about the dream room and stuff?
And she's like, what the fuck? Why does everyone know about this? And he explains that there's a sacred triangle between the director, the projectionist, and the actor that will never be violated.
And it won't.
So you don't have to worry about him knowing about the dream room that he heard from the projectionist that you told. Because we're all going to keep hush-hush about this.
Oh, yeah. Nothing.
It's a sacred triangle.
And then he also says something. It is. It's very true. This is, again, it's another clue, Bobby. It's another clue like roast beef, deli, Philly, Sam.
It's the sacred square.
So then at the same time that this is going on, Dan eventually says to Shayna, he goes, I bet you're happy your Navy boyfriend's leaving. But he's right behind them. He's standing right there. And as Dan says that, he pops a balloon and walks off. And you're like, oh, this fucking tapeworm. Am I right?
They're going to start singing at him like he's the Grinch. You're a douchebag, Mr. Navy. So then they start a conversation about Dan's old movies. He's like, yeah, remember that movie I made with that lady getting trapped on an island or something? He's like, I don't either.
Was one of them the one where what if the Berlin Wall was built in the Bermuda Triangle? And they both laugh. And I'm like, no.
Nope,
What if?
Swing and a miss on that one.
Yeah.
What's the point of it?
Yeah, what's the joke there? Those are words.
So then Ginger is now still locked in that office, right? And
but she's getting out. She's called another security guard and said, hey, I accidentally got locked in this office.
Okay, you want to know something very interesting. Now you need to think of this chronologically of what happens.
It's almost impossible.
When did she get locked in that office? Because what we've seen is what I can see is like multiple days.
What have happened? She's already begun drinking her own urine.
Because we cut to her getting locked in an office and then them hanging out with that dance crew, right? Then they're now at this like VA hall or something, right? I don't know what's going on or how much time has passed, but keep this in mind, people. She got locked in that office, I don't know how long ago, okay? I assume it was at night.
Yeah. This might be the next morning.
It might be. Apparently she's still in there. She calls security, and we are playing this ADR conversation because I mean, at some really point, it's like, why did we add in the lines? Because she goes, hello, security guy? And he goes, oh, hello? Yeah, hey. Oh, hey, how you doing? Hey. And she goes, yeah, hey, this guy accidentally locked me in his office. Can you come and get me? And he's like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll be right there. Yeah. It almost sounded like Dan did that ADR.
Dan, look, can you come in just for a couple hours and help us out with some missing stuff?
Yeah, sure, everyone. Yeah.
I'll do. Just give me a sandwich. Maybe a roast beef deli or sand.
Just sit here in this Eames chair. Some Philly sand roast beef deli sandwiches.
I'm gonna blow up this balloon. It's full of deli.
The deli meat balloon.
It felt like they actually got the lav right up in that beard too. Like they attached it to one of his beard hairs because it's the loudest I've ever heard. And so he's like, "Yeah, okay, I'll come save you."
Security.
Is it security?
Yeah.
Bruce?
Yeah.
Bruce, hi. This is Ginger.
Oh, yeah.
Ginger Bedlow. Fourth floor?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, funny thing. You know Lieutenant Raynard? Well, he's a good friend of mine, and somehow he locked me into his office.
That's rare for you.
Can you come up and get me out? Oh, that would be great.
Okay. Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Right
Yeah.
Here I come.
And then so Shayna is in a band now, right?
I mean, we're checking all the boxes for a Grindbin movie. We now have a full music number by a band.
Okay, so to my knowledge now, it is now night.
Yes.
Okay, so at least a full day has passed. Correct.
A 24-hour cycle has gone by.
Yeah. So Shayna's in a band now. She's singing on stage for the party, and I go, well,
Jesus, how much does she have to do for this party?
Well, here's
she's
the
the
thing.
performer too.
I go, well, she was singing, because then all of a sudden she turned her head and did something else while the music, the vocal track kept going.
Right. It's seriously. It's like the classic move.
It's like it's the Macy's parade.
Yeah, she just turns her head and starts rocking, and the music's still going. So it's like, did she just jump on stage and sing over a live track or something? She's like, I'll do a little show, you know. I don't know. While she's singing, we decide, you know what, guys, it's been too long. Get a little sex on screen, right?
And I think this is the same topless secretary from earlier.
I think
No,
so.
this is
right?
the...
I thought it was the same actress.
I think it's the
it
same
looked like
actress.
her.
She's playing a different character.
Because she'd be doing
But she's
nudity.
the only person they got contracted to do
I mean,
nudity.
there's two
That's
sets
true.
of boobs in here. They reuse one set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she's the only one who got both sides.
She's just a girl getting taken into the bathroom at this party
by the projectionist.
by the projectionist. But I think this is the same topless lady who was the secretary in the
Right.
other
They're like, well, you already got it off. Can you just go to the other set?
Like,
Don't
can you just before you put your shirt back on, can you go into this bathroom and shoot this quick thing?
Yeah, it'll be real quick. Yeah, because they're like, we want to use every minute of boob time we got, honey. Okay, we paid for a certain amount of hours, so we're going to get our money's worth. So it's been 10 minutes. It's too long. We need some more boobs. We just cut to it because that song isn't working. Maybe they could have cut before she turned her head, before the lip syncing
What
got
the
cut
hell?
off.
It would not be the last time in this movie where they cut too late.
Right.
Oh, no.
But yeah, she's continuing on with this performance, and then Robbie comes in, and he hugs Mojo.
Yeah, so Navy is looking like a real asshole at the party, right? It's a party for him, and everybody's still like, oh, he showed up?
And he's just, I can't believe this guy showed up. Who invited this guy to his party?
And yeah, Mojo shows up.
He sees Mojo, and they give each other a quick little bro hug.
Yeah.
And then he comes to the front where his girlfriend's been performing this whole time. He pulls out a lighter and starts yelling for Freebird.
Yeah, I wrote this fucking asshole,
That
right?
guy.
He would. Navy would
Now you
ask
get
for
why
Freebird.
everyone wants to serve him up as some Philly deli meat.
God. So then Dan comes over to Shayna's mom, right? And he goes, hey, Shayna's mom, how you doing? Did you hear about how I gave her headshot to Mr. Crown? And he's got a hold of her. He's very interested, very interested. He breastfeeds off nubile maidens and sells their children when he's through with them. But it's a good opportunity for her. That is one line that just...
And while you're going, what? Then the next song has started.
Yeah.
And they've launched into this song called Soul Possession.
Which is awesome, by the way.
This should have been playing on the same shows as that band from
with
Hellbent.
like energy and on key would be awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, Soul Possession.
I think what would have driven you insane, man, is if they went 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's
Wait,
a
hold on.
pause, and then the song starts.
Yeah, there you go. You go on the 6th. Not the
Jesus
5th.
Christ.
And
so then Dan walks into the sex scene.
well, yeah, you see him open the bathroom door, and he's talking into the open bathroom.
Yeah.
He goes,
Sacred bond.
there's a sacred triangle between the director, the projectionist, and his girlfriend. Hang on, baby. And then he walks in because
God.
3's all right with Dan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think he goes, all right, bye, I'll come back later for the movie. Much, much later.
Yeah. Time for the Dan Slam.
The Dan Slam breakfast.
Somebody told...
And, so
Little Haggerty triangle.
Just let y'all know, Dan Haggerty spends the rest of this movie in a 3-way in a bathroom, and we don't see him again for a long time.
Roast beef, deli, Philly, Sam. Okay?
That's all it takes.
So Ginger stabs the guy who saves her. Okay, so the guy goes in the office.
This like nice guard who's just gonna unlock the door. He walks in and she goes, ha!
Yes, which by the way, he just comes in and goes, oh hey, how you doing, Ginger? And she goes, with an American flag.
She grabs
right?
the flag and just like attacks him with it.
Which by the way, who has this in their office? It's like the flag you have.
It's a Navy office. I'll grant
I'll
them
buy that, yeah.
Every Navy guy has a full like 6-foot flag in their office.
If they're
I think
real
this checks out.
Americans, they
That's
do.
right.
And if that flag was drowning and an old lady was also drowning, which one do you save,
I'd
Mike?
stab the old lady with
You're
the flag.
damn right. No
The-
commie
the
pinkos on
flag.
this show.
Yeah, of course. And then I'd maybe shoot the lady with a gun and go, guns don't kill people, liberals do.
It's true.
And so then Ginger, she stabs him, and then she runs out, right? And she looks back and she goes, sorry, Bruce, I'll explain later.
Sorry, Bruce, I'll explain later.
You see a thumbs up come from underneath.
Yeah, and then breaks out of the building. And then we cut back to the party. The song is continuing.
We are on minute 26 of Soul Possession.
Okay.
Like this is
Yeah, because guess what? Ginger appears at the party.
like is the party next door to the hospital? Did she run across the street to the party?
This is what I'm saying. Everything's happening at the same time because she was locked in that office for a full day.
Time's a construct, Mike. Like, what is time really?
I'm
Flat
starting to
surface.
question it.
It's a flat circle of roast beef.
Man. This is
sand.
Deli.
This is like
Philly.
you're telling me this is like the new season of True Detective or something?
Oh yes.
But if like the writers took Robitussin. So there,
Crashed
we're
into
back
a
at the
pole.
party. Ginger just walks into the party, and then Mojo spots her, and he's like, "The fuck!" And then Ginger just walks up. By the way, ruins the whole party. She walks up to Shayna while she's on stage in the middle of the song, and she's crying.
Our dead dad's not dead, but now he's dead.
Yeah, she screams at the party. She goes, "That found Dad. They're gonna kill him again."
And she's like, you're not on the list.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Shayna, what are you doing here?"
God, this is like the guys from Oasis feuding.
Someone's going to throw a plum.
Mom comes up and she's like, "Ginger, what's going on?" She's like, "I saw Dad, but they killed him again."
She goes, "Are you sure?" Like, I think you'd be pretty sure if you saw your own father, who you thought was dead, who then got gunned down in front of you. They're like, "Are you sure it was him?"
In your place of work.
Yeah.
By the way, ruining a party.
This couldn't have waited.
Yeah, because everybody stops as they just stare at them, and they're like, is she gonna finish the set, or what else is
I want
going
to
on?
see how Soul Possession ends.
How great would it have been though if Navy boyfriend put out the lighter again and he goes, "Free bird," while they're all crying.
And she goes, that's for the encore.
I wish that when Ginger walked in, they were doing Free Bird.
They're in like minute 5 of the guitar solo as she walks in. And then she ruins it, and the guitarist's like, "Really? What the fuck?" I'm like, towards the end of this shit.
I have to start over from the top.
Damn
1,
it.
2, 3, 4.
So these 3 women ruin the whole party, and everybody's like, "God damn, this is awkward." I don't even like Robbie, Navy boyfriend. I just came here because there was roast beef Philly deli sand. Like, I think that, why did they put up the sign, by the way? It didn't say farewell Robbie. It said roast beef deli Philly sand.
It was
It's
the
a
only
code.
way to get people to come to the party.
It's true. It's like, did they know that he had no friends, that to the point where they had to like advertise to get people to come to the party?
No one RSVP, and then we got the party sub, and everyone,
So they're like, well, maybe we should put up something about like free sandwiches, but we don't have enough letters and we can't spell that. So this is what we can spell.
Maybe word of mouth will get it around that we've got this 6-foot sub here.
The sub was headlining, actually.
Free bird. So then Shayna says, she goes, "Hold on, I gotta tell my boyfriend bye." And she goes, she leads him outside. She's like, hey, sorry, like your party sucked and everything, but guess we won't be seeing each other much longer, right? And he's like, no, I'm leaving for some sort of Navy thing. And she gives him a kiss, and she's like, I guess we're a couple. And then he hands her something, and he goes, take care of my air horn, would you? Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Hold on. The air horn comes in by a man walking out of the building.
Who says, thank you for lending me your air horn.
In the craziest ADR monotone line. And then he hands her.
Thanks for lending me this air horn.
Yeah, and then he hands it to Shayna, and he goes, could you take care of my air horn for me?
It's very important, Mike.
Cut to, guys, this is a real line in this movie. Right after that sweet goodbye, you hear an ADR of Shayna saying,
thanks for lending me the air horn. Take care of the horn for me.
Robbie and his damn air horn.
And she puts it in a leather case.
At this point in the movie, I don't know if that was important or not. I want it to be, but I can't trust this movie.
This air horn is more important to the plot of the movie
than Haggerty. The air horn is more crucial.
It might be more important than Shayna. Like, seriously, this air horn is the key
really,
to everything.
If you think about it, isn't the air horn the protagonist?
It's the only one I'm rooting for.
I really felt like at some point this movie was going to Memento. You know, and like all the pieces are going to come together and you're like, holy shit. It all came down to certain things and the air horn and, you know, roast beef. And
Christ, Lenny, I'm a John G.
But no, the party's over, right? And now everybody's kind of left, right? Shayna's talking to Ginger. But we need to cut to a scene. By the way, she goes, how's Mom? She's like, I think she's fine. She's sitting on that couch. And then they get the greatest scene of a man walking up and going, oh, excuse me, your jackets, ma'am? My jacket. As the mom won't move as he has to forcibly pull a jacket out from a woman's ass as she's sitting on it. This is in the movie. And then they cut back to Shayna and Ginger and they're like, yeah, remember that? And then, yeah, that's it, man. We cut to, now all of a sudden they're all in Shayna's apartment, right? And Ginger and Mom are there. And they're like, Ginger starts going on this long rant. And she goes, the key that Dad left me after he died by the craziest fucking Murphy killing. He left me a key, and it's the key to the dream room. And apparently,
he told me to remember the name Rotka.
Yeah, and she goes, apparently, Dad has taken me to the dream room, but I don't really know where it is because he made me go blindfolded every time we went there.
Someone brings up during this conversation that the dream room is in a secret chamber under a locker.
Yeah.
I'm like, a locker? Like a school locker?
Yeah, what?
Like the 24-hour fitness locker room? Like the dream room is under that? Because I've been offered.
They couldn't afford it. It was Fitness 19, actually. Well in their budget.
It's the locker from, like, Rock Aliens, where you open it, it's like a full door with a leopard and everything that comes out of it.
That's the dream room.
Holy shit,
It's the nature of the beast.
So then Ginger's like, well, we can't go now, right? And Shayna goes, well, we should wait till the heat dies off. In a few years. A few years!
Yeah, just be cool for a few years. Everyone's going to forget about this.
And she goes, then we'll go to the dream room and we can all hang out with Dad in a few years. And you're just sitting here going, I'm missing something, aren't I?
Yeah. But we don't have time to figure that out because the KGB busted.
Yeah, all of a sudden all the terrorists show up, right?
And Mom goes, you killed my husband! It goes for the double axe handle.
Oh, by the way, before the terrorists break out, Shayna goes, we'll see Dad in a few years, but right now, I need to make Mom some milk.
Priorities. We worry about what's important.
There's just too much in this movie that every new line you bust out, I forgot that existed, and it hits me all over again, and I feel the joy that I felt last night.
Yeah, make Mom some milk. What does that mean?
There's a cow in the corner.
Especially because we had an earlier conversation about wet nurses.
Yes.
Like, this is weird.
Yes, Tanner, I was very afraid.
Goes all the way to the top.
Next to the air horn in a case, there's a breast pump in a case. Robbie and his damn breast pump.
That Eames family is fucked up.
They're into some shit.
Oh, man.
And she goes for the running Polish hammer.
Yeah.
Mom just full on like goes for a clubbing blow with her hands folded, and they beat her away from her.
Yeah,
from them, and she reaches into her purse and pulls out a gun. Mom's packing heat and goes, "Hey, asshole!"
And shoots Shitter in the shoulder. She shoots Mojo in the shoulder, and he goes, "Oh fuck!"
One in the shoulder, one in the shitter.
And then they just shoot the shit out of Mom.
She gets kind of RoboCop too.
Yeah. She goes, ah, as the lights shining and everything.
Then fucking Ginger goes, Mother, are you okay?
And then here's even better. Sonia goes, where other daughter? And then Shayna just walks into the scene, and right after Ginger goes, Mother, are you okay? Shayna goes, oh, Mother.
And then says, she looks down at her dead mom and goes, Mom, you were great. Crazy, but great. Like, say a few words.
Oh my God, Mother!
You all right?
Mom, you were great. Crazy, but great.
She turns to Sonia and she goes, you bitch. She tries to attack her, but then the shitter stops it by just kind of, Mojo just pushes her lightly to the ground. And then all of a sudden, he says to her, he goes, you and your pussy are going to pay for that one.
And the goons all start laughing.
Yeah.
You and your pussy are gonna pay for that one.
Yeah, then the terrorist. So, by the way, there's a nondescript terrorist who always just laughs. He's like the chuckler.
Yeah,
you know, he's
it's just like the gang in RoboCop had the one guy who goes,
You're right. He is like that RoboCop guy.
You gotta have a chuckle house in the gang. That's the thing our gang's missing.
So they got the chuckler.
Gives him some brevity, some gravitas.
And so the chuckler, right?
Yeah.
He's the whole time this is going on.
And
then,
they've got a better idea than him taking it out on her.
Yeah.
Is take it out on her sister.
Yeah. Let's rape Ginger.
But Ginger has gone in. Not Ginger, sorry. But Sonia. Nope.
Shayna.
Girl 3 has launched back into her quip mode. So while all this is going on, she's just kind of vamping from the couch like, yeah, do something, you puss.
Yeah, here's the thing. So he goes, all right, well, we're going to rape your sister now in front of you to teach you a lesson. And yeah, she's like, yeah, why don't you do something about pussy?
Yeah, I dare you to rape my sister.
And
then, dick.
So then,
can you imagine if Linda did this in Savage Street? Like she walks in while they're doing it and goes, yeah, I dare you to keep going. You just wait.
So then the shitter goes, they call me Mojo.
And what does Mojo mean?
For more Johnson than you've ever seen. How's it look, Joe? As he looks to the chuckler and he goes,
looks real good, Mojo.
How's it look, Joe?
How's the light catching my dong, Joe?
And then Shayna turns to him and she goes, hey, Mojo, you know 75% of gang rapists can't get it up.
Well, you're looking at the 25% who can.
They call me Mojo. For more Johnson than you ever seen. Check it out, Dean. What do you think, huh?
Oh, Gmo just one handsome hog there.
Mojo.
What do you say? You ready, baby, huh?
Hey, Mojo. You know that 75% of all gang rapists can't get it up?
Yeah, well, you're looking at the 25% that can.
These are lines in a movie, okay? And then Shayna emasculates him, basically be like, I bet you'll never get that thing up. And then everybody starts laughing.
And he says, yeah, this is just how it gets before it turns into 10 miles of pink steel.
Jesus. This is just incredible.
If we titled our episodes, it would be 10 miles of pink steel.
Oh, for sure.
Don't worry about it. This is the way it gets just before it turns into 10 miles of pink steel.
That's going to be our next t-shirt.
Then Ginger gets into the game, too. She's like, yeah, why don't you fuck me, you puss?
And the whole room is just like, look at your little dick.
Yeah, everybody's turning. Even Sonia's turning against him. Everybody's like, yeah, look at it. It's all small.
They're all going to laugh at you, Mojo.
He's like, I felt a breeze. And
it was cold in here.
Got distracted. Then, guys, guess what?
We spring into action.
Oh, man. The fucking air horn makes an appearance.
Yeah. So Ginger knocks the gun from his hand.
Yeah.
For the distraction, and then we run in with the air horn.
Yeah, Shayna grabs the air horn, which doesn't sound like an air horn at all. It just goes,
and she starts yelling, rape, rape, and the boys run. Why?
They get scared. They go, oh, shit, we got to get out of here.
They've already discharged firearms.
Yeah, Bobby.
And someone squeaking an air horn and yelling rape is suddenly going to get the neighbors to come running?
It was like kids got caught TPing a house. When they went, book it, Mom's going to know. And then they started running.
Oh, cheese it's Mr. Williams.
And the only person that's still there is Sonia, right? And she's standing at the back of the room within earshot. Shayna says to her, she goes, oh, thank God they're all gone. And Ginger goes, it's okay, Shayna. They're so dumb. I had the key hidden in that office that Dad died in the whole time. Sonia is right there.
And Sonia picks the gun back up because no one grabbed that during the melee. They just went, we beep the air horn and we yell and they leave.
Yeah, and then we tell them where the key's hidden.
And so Sonia picks up the gun and thanks her for that information and shoots Ginger.
Yeah. She says, your last words never disappoint.
That's a wrap on Ginger.
By the way, She's also packing more heat because she pulls out a grenade from her pocket and goes, "Oh, also goodbye." And then
10 seconds.
She leaves. Like, you're like saying, like fucking Boris and Natasha. She lights a grenade.
She got a big black bomb with a fuse,
and she goes, "Whoops!" and drops the grenade.
And so Ginger and Shayna, Ginger's not quite dead yet. So
No.
they're she's slung Ginger's arm over her shoulders, and Shayna's trying to get her out of there. And Ginger's kind of doing the just go on without me. Fuck you. I'm fucking dying.
Yeah,
and shoves her out the door.
Longest goddamn grenade of all time, right? The timer
they
on
had
this
10
thing.
minutes on this son of a bitch.
Yeah. So by the way, though, they make it to the front door.
And
when
that's when Ginger just shoves her out the door and
Yeah.
then goes back inside and lays down.
Yeah,
on
she
top
goes,
of it.
"Save yourself!" Pushes her out the
And
front
just goes,
door.
well, and then puts her feet up for a second.
Like she has no chance whatsoever to get
She's
out.
at the door.
Yeah.
You made it out.
Then she falls backwards. You're right, Bobby, and still has time to pose. Like she's like, "I don't want to die like this."
Well,
And
she's like, well, if I'm about to get Pompeyed, I want to at least get in a good pose.
Yeah, I want a Cleopatra pose.
Yeah, I want them to find me.
They're gonna study this. I gotta get in the right.
I'm gonna end up in a museum somewhere.
She's like the Michael Jackson Thriller pose. Like she's the album cover. As Shayna,
She puts on the white suit.
Shayna looks back into the house, and we cut to the smallest CG explosion that you can have in the editing room. It's like somebody lit a sparkler in front of a camera.
It's like just a poof.
It just goes poof, and she goes, "Ah." It's like, that's it, man. Then she exploded. Cut to Sonia in a hot tub, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
all right.
I cannot fucking wait. This scene, like, here's the thing. People are listening now going like, what the fuck's going on? This can't get any weirder, right? No. All the way until minute 93, this movie just piles on the weird till it just never lets up. Never lets up. And it's evidence right here.
Unstoppable.
This is the scene in the movie where I knew that this is, and I'm not kidding, it's maybe the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life. Is that I was
Wow.
just like, I've never seen anything like this.
This is
Never.
even more so than John Rad's Dangerous Men.
No, this takes it over.
Wow.
This is the greatest Grindbin movie.
I know we haven't gotten to that part of the episode yet where we talk about that, but I'm 100% with you, man.
Wow.
Yeah, this is. Oh my god.
Okay.
Because
Like, this is my
scene-
favorite movie we've covered on
This
this
scene
show.
did it for me. I was like, it's never going to turn back. This movie has become its own monster because Sonia's sitting in a hot tub when Mojo walks up.
And he's trying to maybe line something up with her.
Well, she goes, "Did you find key?" And he goes, "Oh man, we looked around that office for like 5 minutes. We couldn't find shit." And she's like, "Well, you do not do a good job." And he goes, "Well, how about I get in that hot tub with you?"
Yeah, I could do a good job in there.
And she goes, "Yes, come in, hot tub. Go ahead. Feel how hot it is."
And he dips in the water for a second. He's like, "Gah! It's freezing."
It's like that Hulk Hogan thing when he's in that and he puts his hand in a piece some water. And he
Oh,
goes,
it's the Dungeon of Doom.
I've never been here before.
It's just like
You
that.
should drop that in.
I've never been here before. Ah! It's not hot. What is this place?
He puts his hand in the hot tub and he goes, "Oh, it's freezing
It's cold, brother.
And then she laughs and goes, "Ha ha ha! Siberian hot tub, very hard to find in Southern California."
And then this is it. This is it. When I knew it was the greatest movie of all time, is she goes, "It even keep my vodka cold." As she pulls a bottle of vodka out from the hot tub.
What about 5 minutes of tea in the tub, huh?
Why don't you come on in and join me, Mojo?
Maybe I will at that. Whoa, that's ice cold.
Of course! Siberian hot tub. It took me a long time to find in Southern California. It even keeps my vodka cold.
Like, this couldn't be more Russian if Putin suddenly came up out of the water.
This is it, man. I wrote in my notes at this point. I go, "This is the greatest movie of all time. Of all time." This
is your new favorite movie.
There will never be anything better. Like, I don't know how any Ben movie is ever going to top this. Cut to Shayna. She's just sitting in a blown up house, all bummed, right? She's like, "Man." But her sister did die in a great pose, so she's just kind of like, maybe I should take a picture because this is kind of cool. And then the guard from earlier in the movie just comes in and he's like, "Oh man, I need some leads."
We just don't have any leads, but that's okay because Mojo walks by.
Yeah.
Like, why? You gunned a man down in the storage closet. Why are you just strolling around this place?
He walks by, but then all of a sudden the guard leaves the scene for like 1 minute and Shayna has a weird bad dream. And then the guard walks back in the scene. And he's like, is everything okay? She's like, yeah, that was weird. I don't know why you put that in the movie. And then the guard she says to him, she goes, look, Mojo was here. You know, he killed my dad. He killed my sister and my mom. And the guard goes, yeah, but Mojo's in the Navy. He wouldn't do anything like that. And she goes, but do you know about that Sonia lady? He goes, I never heard of a Sonia, but she's probably in the Navy too. If she's hanging out with Mojo, she's got to be in the Navy. She have the same black outfit on? Yeah, she's probably in the Navy.
This checks out.
And then in the guard's office, because he takes her back, he's like, well, we're going to find it out, right? That's when Mojo just shows up at the guard's office. He just looks in the door and he goes, oh, shit!
Like, why'd you come back?
And then he just runs.
And we have a foot chase.
He runs to a payphone where he calls Sonia, and then the guard and Shayna...
They saw me.
He does. The guard and Shayna catch up to him while he's still on the phone. And
they politely let him finish his phone call.
Sonia, they found me.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I'll call you back later.
I'll call you back. Wait, hold on. Guys, stop it. Hold on. I'll call you right back.
Guys, I need
time out. I said time out.
Yeah, I like you too. Okay, bye. And then the guard and Shayna just go, well, we got you now because you didn't run.
Did the rights.
And then they bring him back. And then all of a sudden you cut to the guard on the phone in a much later scene going, what do you mean we got to let that Mojo guy go? And that's it. I guess they didn't get him. Mojo had to get away. Then all of a sudden cut to Navy being tortured by the terrorists. And they fucking cut his finger off.
Yeah.
Cut to Shayna back at her house. She opens a box and there are bloody fingers in it. Then the phone rings and it's Navy boyfriend.
And he very calmly goes, yeah, Shayna, that's my finger you got there.
Yeah, he's like, that's my finger, in case you were wondering where that came from or who it belonged
that hurt
to.
a ton.
Yeah.
It was not a good touch.
Did they wrap that finger in an American flag? I didn't really. I'm starting to think
like they were sending
it
home.
Yeah, I think they did.
It's in the Capitol building as we speak.
The finger of the unknown soldier.
So then the guard shows back up to her house and he's like, is everything all right? And then she goes, yeah, you ever seen that episode of The Twilight Zone where that girl gets raped and then she starts to think that everybody she ever meets in her life is the rapist?
No, he full on finishes that plot description back to her. Like, everyone in this movie is a big Twilight Zone fan. Like, oh yeah, I know that episode.
Yeah, and she goes, that's what's happening to me in my real life. And he's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to go now.
Cool.
Then he goes into his car and he's about to drive away and he goes, somebody got to her. And I'm like, who do you think, guy? Who do you fucking think?
If only I had some leads.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's a wrap on that character, right? Helpful guard never appears again.
He had no other leads.
Oh my god,
so
that's
right.
Yeah, oh my god, I think you're right.
He's like, I gotta go back to base. He's an AWOL.
He tossed this one in the cold cases.
So then all of a sudden,
I'm not even a cop. I'm a security guard at a Navy hospital.
What am I doing here?
I'm way out of my depth.
So then the phone rings in Shayna's house. She picks it up, and it's Sonia. And she goes, we love your acting. Very good job getting that guard to leave. And then they hang up, right? And then the phone rings again, and she picks it up. She goes, I already told you I'll be there and everything. And he goes,
hey, I got you an audition.
Yeah, hey,
here with Roger Rabbit.
Hey, why are you so mad?
We're in Roger Rabbit's movie. She's like, oh, hi, Dan. You're still in this movie?
This is still a plot that I'm going to be concerned with after my family's been murdered? Yeah, I'll go to audition.
You got the job. You got it.
At least one thing went well today.
So then the guards in the car. Yeah, that's what he says. Who got to her? So then the room dad was killed. The terrorists are there, right? Mojo and the Laugher. Then they're just like, I don't want to work. Then Mojo
Why
goes,
don't you find it? You're smart.
And he goes, I don't know. What do you think? She hid it under a desk or something? And then he gets the key.
Like, it takes him less than a minute to find the key that she had well hid.
Yeah. Sonia's pleased because she walks in the room. She goes, you found key. And he says something where he goes, what a carrot can do?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
carrot.
What?
Because she's the carrot. Now that he's found the key.
Yeah.
Like, she's going to give it up to him.
Yeah, and then he says, or what we say in your country, what a borscht could do.
Yeah, which, no.
What?
That doesn't work.
Are we making dick jokes?
I have no idea.
Borscht is a kind of soup.
It's a cold soup.
Yeah.
Cold soup.
Is
made
this
out
a
of
reference to that
beets
Siberian
and
hot
cabbage.
tub?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we could make borscht in Siberian hot tub. You can bring the carrot.
I'm telling you right now that one day I'm walking into a hot tub store and I'm asking for the Siberian model. And I'm going to see what they say.
Sir? It's going to start with sir.
Oh, right here, sir.
A very
Get out.
stern
Right here.
sir.
Get out.
I need it to chill my vodka.
Like, when did you get this accent?
Can we please film that for the website?
Yes.
Cut to the Balboa Island ferry.
Yep.
They did. Okay, here's a big thing about this movie. They got a lot of locations that they film at, right? They don't have permits. They definitely don't.
no.
Because this movie...
They're Navy. They don't need permits.
This is the shakiest fucking camera you've ever seen, and Shayna looks so goddamn nervous, and she's like, I think they're coming. I think somebody's gonna tell us to stop recording,
sir.
And you just see the Balboa ferry pull up. That they're acting as like some major ferry. Which, by the way, have you ever been to Balboa Island? That ferry
Here in
is
Southern California, listeners.
Yeah, that ferry is fucking useless. Because you can literally just drive over the bridge, which is a foot away from it. It is
I happen
just
to quite like taking the ferry.
It's for fun.
Yeah.
But here's the thing:
you're out with your significant other on a date.
Yeah.
The stars are shining.
Yeah, you know.
It
You
is
just
a-
bought a frozen banana.
It is a 3-minute ferry ride.
Yeah,
Okay,
$1
from
a
one
minute.
block to another. Okay, and here's the thing about it: you got to wait in a long ass line of cars to get your one car onto that ferry, right? So what we're gonna see now is the most crazy thing: is that she's waiting for a car to appear on the ferry. She gets on there, she looks into the back seat, and it's Navy boyfriend catatonic in the back seat, missing a finger. And I'm just like, can you imagine the terrorist waiting in line for that ferry ride? Be like, we're gonna get him there. So yeah,
They're coming. They're coming. When she finds Robbie in the back of the car, there's a note.
Oh yes, please.
Oh yeah.
This is important. And it says, you think he looks bad now? Wait till you testify. Love the bad guys.
So she walks up a grassy hill, and she looks into the sky, and she goes,
Mom? Dad? Ginger? Whoever killed you, whoever defiled your graves, I will find. I will destroy. And Dad, rest assured your life's work will not be used for evil. I'm going to find them all. Sonia, Mojo, and the ones behind the masks. And they will all die.
just yelling this into the heavens in a public park, and I almost just wanted somebody to be like, is she doing like a Shakespeare?
Shakespeare in the park?
Like, what is going on? At what point did they
Just
like
the Tempest.
Yeah, Mine Trap in the park.
Demetrios?
Oh God! Can we work this into a play that we can do in public?
Just the four of us
playing all the characters.
This is just such a nice touch to me that Demetrios says, no, you must go to hell. You must let it all out.
With God as my witness, I will never go hungry again.
Yes, you're like Abraham, going to top of mountain and yelling at God himself. And she's like, yeah, whatever you say. It was just incredible, man. Just absolutely incredible. Then we cut to Shayna getting a call from the guy who acted in the movie.
She gets a call from Lyle Wagner.
Yeah, so Lyle Wagner's back. He goes, hey, remember me, everybody? And
she's like, hey, what's going on? She's giving him the update. He goes, what about Robbie? And she goes, they cut his finger off, and now he's catatonic. And he goes, well, I guess every cloud has a silver lining, because everybody hates this asshole.
And you figure, how long did Lyle Wagner meet him? Maybe one day? He didn't. By the way, Lyle Wagner didn't even show up to the screening of the movie. Like, he wasn't there for the premiere of the movie.
And she tells Lyle Wagner about Radka. For fuck's sake, Shayna.
Yeah, she goes, you ever heard of this Mr. Crown guy? Mr. Roger Rabbit
Like, you're supposed to shut the fuck up about all these things. That's why they're sending you fingers.
And he goes, oh, do I know about him? Guys, here it comes.
Oscar moment.
I know about him because we went to school together. He used to be known for making political advertisements. And in fact, he made one for a political ad.
This is when I was in college. I was majoring in theater, and he was majoring in amateur gynecology.
And he would make political ads for our student council. Which, by the way, student council in college? I don't remember that shit.
And where are they getting commercial time for this to make
Yeah,
ads?
exactly.
What,
college TV?
On the public campus TV? Yeah, he was an unlikable wimp that they showed in soft focus. Everyone hated him until they started showing him in soft focus. And we did footage of his opponent freeing criminals from jail cells. So what happened? Well, Radka's guy won.
Yeah.
And then she asked, well, what school was this? And he goes, oh, you've never heard of it. And she hasn't heard of it because shortly after the student body president took office, there was a massive race riot.
Yeah, he says the school went bankrupt because of race riots.
And everybody died except Radka and his candidate.
Everybody died.
At a school race riot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she says, well, where's the candidate now? And he goes, he's the president.
All the way
She's
to the
like-
top. She's like, the United States? Yeah. Yeah, he's the president of the U.S.
So you're telling me that the president of the U.S. colluded with a bunch of Russians to make a bunch of propaganda so they could manipulate people and take power? This wouldn't happen.
Yeah, what the fuck?
This is some made-up horse shit.
So you think like Eames has it in with the Illuminati or some shit? Like he's just telling everybody, he's like, "I'll make it into a movie. Nobody, everybody will know it's coming one day."
The
remember
Illuminati
this
are
guy's
the most
French,
important
right?
people in the world. They're going to sit in the most comfortable chairs in the world.
False sense of security.
Mr. Crown helped make political campaign commercials for a guy who everybody in the whole school died except Mr. Crown and the candidate, who then became the president of the United States. And then you have to wonder, how come that shit never came up in the campaign for president? Because what about that time you were in school and everybody died except for you and that weird guy?
Remember when Carrie burned the school down? And you and I were the only ones who got out.
Well, and also
that
apparently
Steve Trevor was also at that school, but he didn't die in the race riots.
Oh, no, that's the big reveal, is he's been a ghost all along. She realizes she was talking to no one.
He also knew about the dream room, buddy.
I also, maybe he actually is the president of the United States in this movie.
Maybe he is.
Might as well. Might as well be.
She goes, "You mean you?" Yeah, me.
And the line goes dead.
And
2 minutes.
You're right, Tanner. This goes all the way to the top. Literally all the way to the top. It can't get any more tippy top than this. Then we cut to a political ad being filmed with Congressman Axel Jenkins, the casual anti-communist, as he calls himself.
I mean, he's wearing khakis.
Terrorism, the birthmark on the ugly face of communism. It strikes anywhere, and I'm Congressman Axel Jenkins, the casual anti-communist. And a vote for me is a vote for... shit.
But he fucks up the reading of the line.
The
and
biz cash anti-communist.
Mr. Crown is like, cut. And he comes over and he's like, "This is how you read the line. You read the line of, if you don't vote for me, this little girl's gonna die." And he's like, "Are you sure? That's a little over the top," or something like that.
He's like, "God damn it, that's what we do here."
Axel, look, the line reads like this. I'm Congressman Axel Jenkins. A vote for me is a vote for freedom. A vote for my opponent is, well, you might as well just kill this little girl, you red commie scum.
Isn't that a little harsh?
It's a joke.
Oh, the kill this girl part.
No, the red commie scum part.
Which, by the way, the commercial opened with that same explosion of the house blowing up, but they superimpose it on top of a Jeep that doesn't have any damage. It's just a little light flash.
A Jeep turns into a house blowing up.
Yeah. And then the rest of the commercial, they don't know. And then something about killing a girl, you commie scum. And then all of a sudden the AD comes up and he goes, "Hey, Mr. Crown, that Shayna lady's here." And he's like, "Oh, great." And so he walks over to go meet her, and it looks like she just smeared jelly donut on her face.
Like she went to town on a jelly donut.
Yeah, because it's not really even makeup like blood. She just has a red chin. And he's like, "That makeup looks horrible. Horrible. Act dead for me."
Get down on the ground and play dead.
And she goes, "Blah," and does like a full acting job. And he's like, "I like it. Looks very good. You're doing well." And he goes, "But now I need to go finish the rest of my commercial." And then Shayna talks to the audience as she says, "I hate auditions."
God, she just Bugs Bunnies it.
She does. Like for the rest
What
of this
a maroon.
movie, Shayna will break the fourth wall, not looking at us, but talking to us like a narrator, like it's like the Wonder Years or some shit, but you're still on camera. Then we cut to the hospital, and Navy boyfriend is being wheeled around in a wheelchair by Shayna, and she tells the doctor, he's like, "Hey, so what happened with that finger? That's kind of weird,
She
right?"
goes, electric can opener.
Yeah, electric can opener. It's a big thing. It was like I was doing a movie role or something, and it cut his finger off, and the doctor goes, "Well, that all checks out." And then Shayna and Navy are driving in a car, and they're like following Mojo around, and then Mojo drives into...
I like that in his catatonic state, he's just like she has a dog in the passenger seat.
Yeah, because
she
Navy
just keeps talking to him. He's just staring ahead, doing nothing.
Navy boyfriend won't say a word for like the rest of the movie, is what you think, because he's just sitting there catatonic, right? You're waiting for him to snap back into reality. They follow Mojo, and he pulls into a parking lot. She goes, "Oh my God, it's the perfect place to hide. The military museum, because it's only open on the weekends." And I'm like, what?
Everybody knows weekend terrorist plots don't pan out. It's a weekday terrorist plot.
So
if you're one of those weekend terrorists, you don't really have your heart in it. You're not going to accomplish anything.
While the military museum's closed during the week, terrorists can meet there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Checks out. Everyone's at home.
So then we cut
No
to...
one's guarding the place.
You're right, but we cut to the terrorists are meeting now with Mr. Crown. So there is collusion at this point, right?
Verified collusion.
They are now colluding with Mr. Crown, and he does say something about... I swear to God, it's all 80 yard, by the way, which is amazing. It's 80 yard mid-line. So it will be like one guy going, yeah, that's great. How about that? Going there. And you're like, what? It just, your ear, like if you're listening on headphones, it gets really loud and then soft and you don't know what the fuck's going on.
And Mike's not kidding. That is literally how it happens.
Or as they say in your country, it takes more than one gulag to make an archipelago.
I assume you meant that as an insult, Mr. Mojo?
Yes,
Now, boys and girls, let's not lose sight of what has brought us together in common cause.
He basically says, look, I don't like colluding because I hate Russians, but I hate liberals more. So it's fine with me.
I feel like I've heard this recently.
Right? Like, how fucking fresh is this? I was just like, yeah, Nazis, but it's better than being a fucking lib, right?
So seriously, this movie, made in 1989, is about a man who helped a man get elected president who has colluded with the Russians to help said man become
By
president.
manipulating idiots through propaganda.
This is a movie in 1989. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So now Shayna's making her plan to kill the terrorists. That's what she tells Navy boyfriend,
And she's
right?
discussing these plans out loud in a crowded hospital.
Yeah.
While
yeah.
she wheels him down the
Right.
hallway.
In a VA hospital as
So
she's
here's what I'm
yelling.
gonna do.
Yeah. And then here's her plan, guys. It's in action. She just pulls up to the front of the military museum.
But she's in incognito.
She's in a disguise.
She's got a side pony and some animal print stockings.
She is dressed as a street
It's
prostitute.
kind of, it's a little bit
I
Peggy
think she's
Bundy.
dressed as a Bengal.
That's a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe more a
Call
Bengal
back
than a
to our
prostitute,
Angel
yeah.
2 episode. I think
Oh, yeah.
I think Hollywood interpreted streetwalkers or prostitutes as just being members of the Bengals.
That's true.
She's dressed like she's trying to stop Gem and the Holograms from winning the battle of the bands.
Her songs are better.
Yeah. She
by
might be
far.
one of the misfits.
So she pulls up in front of the gate, and Mojo's there, and she's like, "Hey, how you doing, big boy?" And then he's like, "Oh, hi. What are you doing at the military museum on the week? You know, it's closed or something." And I'm just writing my notes. I go, "You know each other.
Yeah,
you guys know each other."
He reveals that very quickly because he does not fall for this. He
Not
leads
at
her on. He leads her
all.
on for about 20 seconds, and then he pulls her gun out of her purse, and he's like, "All right."
So the man
You thought a
who-
side pony was gonna trick me?
Seriously, she didn't do anything other than, like you said, put her hair up in a side pony
And wear some funky pants.
and go, "Hey there, big boy." And he's like, "I remember you because I tried to rape your sister and you were
And I've murdered your
emasculating me."
family.
Yeah, I murdered your
I
whole
killed
family.
your entire family in
How
front of you.
do you think I wouldn't know who you are? Because then he immediately goes, "Well, I know who you are. You look a lot like this lady I know named Shayna."
This is why Batman wears a cowl, Shada.
And then he takes a gun out of her purse and he's like, "Well, now you're in trouble and everything." And then all of a sudden this gets really weird because he goes, she says something like, "Don't you remember me from Rydell High?"
No, he says, "Did you go to Rydell High?" And she says, "No, I went to school here on planet Earth." Huh?
And then
Swing and a miss.
he says, "I thought you'd remember me because I was the guy who won most likely to fuck your brains out."
What?
Which that's an A+ pickup line, right?
What's going on?
Didn't you go to Rydell High?
No. I went to school here on the planet Earth.
Did you now? Don't you remember me? The boy most likely to fuck your brains out?
Must have been a different class. It was a big school.
Let me refresh your memory, bitch.
And then she goes, "Yeah, I got a deal. Why don't you bring me to your boss?" But
He
you
likes
wanna
pretty girls, right?
Yeah.
You bring me to him untouched as a present. We can make it a surprise. And this guy's like stroking his chin, like, "Say, that's a good idea."
But at this point, Bobby, who's the boss? She doesn't know about the collusion. So what boss?
Oh, dude, this is parlay.
So is she talking about
You know,
Sonya?
I guess
he has
so,
to
yeah.
take her to his leader
Yeah.
now.
Is she talking about Sonya?
She
Maybe
doesn't know.
this
She's
is her
trying to find
clever
out.
way, yeah, of finding out who the boss is.
She's
She's just
doing
gonna
her,
show up to one of the goons and go, "Take me to your leader."
because she's doing like a Mae West Bengal, and she's like, "Yeah, take me to
Or
your
a
boss."
Raven Delacroix.
That's
She
what it
is, yeah. And then
Put a nickel in the machine.
he goes, "Well, we will go to the boss. And she goes, well, let's take my car. And he goes, no, let's take my car and you're driving. And then makes her drive, and he points a gun at her while she's driving.
By the way, his car, and it gets acknowledged momentarily, but his car has animal print seat covers.
Yes.
And a skeleton dangling from the rear view.
Yeah, and we make a
This
point to
guy's dope
show
as
all
shit.
this. We make a point to show it all. And then Mojo, he has her drive, and then she starts driving. He goes, no tricks, or I'm going to blow your brains out. And then he goes, but buckle up. Which I really like. I'm like, nice touch, right? Buckle up.
But then she doesn't take that advice because she starts going rogue immediately.
Do you have the line? Because this is maybe one of my favorite moments in the movie.
I don't think I have what is said.
He goes like this. They're driving, Bobby. They're driving just down like a random alley or something. And he goes, hey, I know that guy. Can you stop? And then she doesn't stop. And he goes, hey, what are you doing? She runs over a Navy guy.
She hits a naval officer. And spoiler alert, there are no repercussions for this.
No, she
we never
kills
call
him.
back to it.
We
ever.
never find out what happened to that guy.
For all we know, Shayna killed a Navy officer.
Yeah, it wasn't her car. They can't bring it back to her.
But he goes, hey, I know that guy. Can you pull over?
So she kills him.
Like he's going to have a conversation where he's got a gun on this girl in the car. He's like, nah, it's Navy business. But no, she runs over this guy.
Hey, I know that guy. Pull over by those prefab houses. Hey, pull over.
Why?
Or I'll blow your brains out.
Look by it.
Look out!
And then she makes a run for it after that. She gets out of the car and starts running, and they're running in between these big like shipping containers.
Oh, I thought they were like portable classrooms.
Yeah, they're like trailers.
Yeah, she's running through the auxiliary classrooms of the elementary school.
Or like the house she was in at the beginning.
Oh, this is just where they park the trucks.
Holy shit.
See, at this point, like this movie is so bizarre, and we keep kind of referencing Inception. I was like, oh, is the space between the trailers going to narrow? Like, and
This is
she's
like a
gonna have
Willy
to, like,
Wonka's
squeeze
factory
through.
thing.
And then all of a sudden it's going to start going in the air and curve it up.
It's
and
gonna be
everything.
amazing. Like Sonic the Hedgehog running. And what's weird is, due to the geographical limitations, she can only run in a straight line. He still can't shoot her.
Well, this is the best part, Bobby, is that not only can he not shoot her, she's not as fast as the other actor. Because Shayna starts running in her heels, but she can't run fast enough. And this is so great. If you watch it very closely, Mojo runs, and then he has to slow down multiple times to let her go
too
further.
much.
And then the only times he'll ever pull out the gun to shoot her is when she's kind of far away, because he's right next to her. He won't grab her, and he won't shoot her. And this just goes on for a little bit. Then he takes her back in the car. He still lets her drive.
And this is
by
the weird
way.
part. We act like none of this happened.
This could have been cut. It did not
we go
affect
right back to
anything.
the car. We hop back in.
She killed him, man.
Yeah, that dude's laying in a heap on the ground. He's broken inside.
They got Navy all over the car. And he says to her, when she sits in the car at this point, he looks down at her pants and he goes, man, your bimbo outfit matches the interior of my car. Which it does, which was a nice touch.
And your bimbo outfit kind of matched the interior of my car here.
So on they go. And she
Yeah.
starts fucking around again. She starts picking up speed. It like crashes through some empty cardboard boxes.
And he's like, I'm going to shoot you. She's
Excuse
like, you
me?
won't do
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, and then, by the way, there's apparently a bunch of cardboard boxes on PCH or something.
just burst through them. And we drive all the way to like a junk pile.
Oh, hold on. Before that, she also says at one point, she goes, yeah, well, how about this? And then she starts turning and goes, well, look at your gas tank. And I go, it's your car.
Yeah.
Joke's on you.
Look
I didn't
at
put
your
any gas in this
tank,
thing.
Mojo.
Wait,
Jesus.
you told her to drive somewhere. Like, you only had enough gas to go between the... What?
He was planning on breaking down halfway there and being like, I guess we're stuck here.
So, Bobby, they drive to a big junk pile.
That's just there, and then she, she's redlining it, and then suddenly slams the brakes. Well, she unbuckles his seatbelt. She reaches over, goes click, and then hits the brakes real hard.
Yeah.
He goes flying through the windshield.
But there's a problem with the way he lands.
Yes.
Is there, Chris?
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, because it's going to somehow from the when you fly out of a windshield, if you've seen any, ambulance scene, you're going to fly out head first.
Listeners, picture yourself riding shotgun in a car, and you have flown through the windshield.
Yeah. Yes.
From
And-
someone hitting the brakes too hard.
And he goes the natural way, head first.
Yes,
right?
but
With the
somehow
momentum.
something happens between then and where he lands. Is now impaled through the chest, but he's now facing
like
the opposite
in midair,
direction.
there was like a twist.
Yeah.
he
He did a
some
full
kind of
flip.
Yeah.
Cancun tornado through the
Yeah.
midair, and he lands facing her
He
with a
had to
big
do-
rod sticking through him.
Yeah.
He had to do more than a...
He's doing a double Lutz, like
yeah,
Kelly
he had
Rig.
to do more than a full flip because his head is already down.
Yeah.
This is a
And then
move
he's
that's
ba-
known as the Firebird Splash. that he did. You could see Seth Rollins busting this one out on Monday nights.
He gets impaled through this spike hanging out the junk pile, right? And then Shayna just gets out of the car, gets a clue from his pocket, and says,
"You can learn a lot from a dummy."
And then gets onto the junk pile. She looks on top of the junk pile and does like a fucking Highlander. And she just stares out in the sunset.
She gets a quickening.
It's like, what the fuck?
And I think that's when she got the Gatorade, right?
Yeah, those are Gatorade
I think
wrap.
she stole his
She hits her quip.
mojo.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
So
my
she has
God.
a giant penis now.
She's got 10 miles of pink
10
steel.
miles of pink
10
steel.
miles, man.
You could learn a lot from a dummy.
So now Shayna's driving a red Jeep. Then all of a sudden she rolls outside of it and starts a new gunfight. And we're like, what? And then she's like shooting dudes and everything.
And this is like RoboCop going through the meth lab. She's just like shooting over her shoulder and taking dudes out in the tower. And
She shoots a
people
guy
are
from
flying out windows.
A guy a fucking mile away in a tower with a handgun. And she just takes him out in one shot. He falls over it. And then she also says like lines. She goes, oh, I finally learned something from those stupid movies I've been in, right? And she's running around. And at one point she's just running from guys. And then all of a sudden you hear Mr. Crown go, and cut. And then she comes down. They've set up for a full film shoot and everything. Goes, your audition's going great, honey.
And she's a little beside herself because she says, I was using live ammo.
And I went, whoa.
Yeah,
wait.
Because when I was watching, you could see like a bullet ricochet off
Yeah.
by her foot. I'm like, what's going on? This isn't any audition I've been on.
She goes, I was using live ammo. And he goes, well, so were we.
What do you want?
What is happening?
And I go,
love it.
wait, so she just killed 4 guys?
Yeah.
Like, she
That
just
means that all of those gunshots happened.
And I go, they didn't even film it? This is the audition?
that Simpsons thing. Willie wasn't in on it.
Really, real Shakespearean shit.
So she just killed guys in an audition.
Just straight up murdered like 4 people.
And
4
by the way,
actors.
after she knew she was using live ammunition, she still kept shooting.
She wants that role.
And then and Mr. Crown's just like, yeah, I think you're going to do real well. And then she looks at the camera and goes, or she looks away, and she goes, I hate callbacks. Okay, so what? Then we cut to Shayna's now in her killing outfit, right? So she's in her Bengal outfit, and she goes to a man's house.
Shade of winter.
This might be.
So she meets with Navy before, and she tells him, she gives him the update that she got Mojo
Again, out loud in a hospital full of other people. I
And
just
now-
murdered a bunch of people.
I killed Mojo.
But it's a
And
VA
some
hospital,
actors.
so there's probably a lot of people shouting about murder in there.
Now I'm gonna get the laughing guy.
And I think I'm going to get that part. So guys,
So
this
I guess you
might,
could say things are going pretty well, Robbie.
this might be my favorite touch in any movie I've ever seen. Like my
Business?
favorite touch for a scene. Because, you know, have you ever heard the thing where it's like you always got to have your actors doing something? You know, never have people just sit down. It's always better if they're walking and talking, you
More
know.
dynamic that way.
So,
you need things for them to do.
yeah, Bobby, now give me an example. What would you do for a man? She's coming over in her killing outfit. She's going to visit a man's house.
We
What
can't
would
just
you-
have him like sitting on his bed
right?
looking at the wall. We need something.
Like maybe have him play video games, maybe read a book.
I like where you're going with this. I think we could do
He's
better.
gonna be in the living
What
room.
What if he's sawing a 2x4?
Yeah, in his living room.
In his living room.
But not with a power saw, with like a big old-timey wobbly saw. with 2 sawhorses and a 2x4, like a Jim Duggan 2x4.
Well, what happened is, what I read is they ran out of pre-production time, so they had to build the sets while they filmed.
It's like he's building a fucking set.
He's setting up the next scene.
I'm building the dream room.
The giggler is sawing a 2x4 in his living room.
Like he was sitting at home watching Bob Vila.
Yes.
And went, shit, I can do this. And just started pulling out the equipment.
What is
It's like
going
people who watch
on?
cooking shows in their kitchen trying to follow the recipe.
Right.
It's something like somebody goes, yes, you can film by my house, but you also have to put up the frame, like from that. Like I need to put up some drywall or something. So if you can help me. So he saw this 2x4, and then he goes, wow, 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 as like, you know, the Bengal walks up, right?
Boom, kiss,
Again,
kaboom.
he doesn't notice who she is at all because she walks up to the front door and she's like, hey, how you doing, big boy? Why don't I come in and fuck ya? And he's like, oh, yeah. And he,
This actually happens.
and he brings her inside, and then all of a sudden the phone rings, and he's like, oh, can you make this quick? I got a girl I'm going to fuck. She's hot for me. She's hot. And the person
She
on the
wants
phone
it.
goes, "Hey, that's the Shayna girl. You need to kill her." And he's like, "What? It's the same girl? Shit!" Oh man.
But this girl has a side pony. The other girl had unfortunate bangs.
Yeah, he's like, "Are you sure it's her?" And they're like, "Yeah, you gotta kill that girl." And he's like, "Oh damn, could I at least maybe I could do her first? Maybe at least get a blowjob or something." Like, "No man, it's the bad guy. You need to kill her." And he's like, "Well, I'm gonna get a blowjob." And then he hangs up. She sneaks over into the kitchen with a gun out. But then he gets his own gun and he goes, "I knew it was you all along."
He easily just takes her gun out of her hand.
Yeah.
It's not his own gun. He just pulled hers out of her hand. Like, give me that.
And I'm writing, how do you not know who she is? How do you not know who she is? And then
she suddenly stabs him with a switchblade.
She pulls out a switchblade, stabs him,
and we have a foot chase.
He jumps out a window.
Which we talked about this in Witchery. You don't know what to do for this scene to get us out of here. Have someone jump out a window.
Just jump out the window.
Right? just right out.
Then they go on a foot chase around town.
What's great, by the way, about this foot chase is right when it is first starting, this is like Bronx Warriors, because she slips and just, she takes a hard knee on the front lawn and they leave it in.
Yeah, she falls hard. But then they run past like an old lady. Then all of a sudden they run into apparently what I could see was a tetherball pole. Right?
There's a dude tied to it
in his backyard, tied to his tetherball pole, wearing his sweet ass blue jeans. He's getting whipped.
Yeah, he's getting flogged by his mistress.
Yeah, by some dominatrix lady, right? And the two actors, Shayna and the Giggler, run through the scene.
And we're kind of doing some keep away on either side of this.
And there's like quipping going back and forth. And at one point, the Giggler runs away and Shayna's still standing there. And the dominatrix looks at her and she goes, "Are you going to let him get away?" And she goes, "Oh shit, I'm in a movie."
She's trying to like take swipes at this guy, but she keeps missing and hitting the sub who's tied to the tetherball pole. And he's loving it. And she goes, "Oh, I'm really sorry. Sorry." And he's like, "Oh, the pleasure's all mine." And the line that the dominatrix says after the dude takes off and she's still sort of awkwardly standing around watching this sex show is, "He's getting away, slut cake."
Yes. No, really, I'm sorry.
Oh, but the pleasure was all mine. Hate to beat and run.
He's getting away, slut cake.
So then Shayna runs away because she realizes she's in a movie, and then the dominatrix takes her top off and keeps whipping.
And so, to paint a picture, the dominatrix is a middle-aged woman.
Yeah.
So it's not even like, ooh, boobies. It's like, oh, it's like my aunt taking off her shirt.
Tanner, by the way,
realistically, this is what you'd encounter if you accidentally stumbled
into a
across sex
backyard
act
whip session.
in someone's backyard.
Yes. And the other thing too is you could tell is like they kept rolling. And you could hear Crown on the end going, "We're still going, honey. Finish the scene." And she's just dying for him to call cut. And she audibly sighs as she undoes her straps and takes down her top and just does one more whip. She's like, "Is that it? All right, that's good."
The foot chase continues into a mall.
Oh, well, we can actually, I believe this is the San Diego Convention Center.
I think it's the Westlake Mall in Beverly Hills.
Okay, maybe it is.
Because the old outside escalator.
Okay, it looked a lot to me like the convention center ones, but maybe
Because I think they actually even say, like, because there's a point where he gets away and
they
says
both
something.
say at the same time.
Yeah, like Westlake Mall or something like that. I was like, what?
That's the product placement?
Yeah.
The Bushwater Center.
Shit.
So they are running up these escalators in a mall. And guys, there are no permits because they're running.
You can see shoppers going like, "The fuck?"
Yeah, especially as she takes out some sort of razor blade piano wire.
No, it's a bandsaw.
Yeah, bandsaw.
That she must have got from his living room.
From his workshop in his living room. Because this dope tries to run up the down escalator. And obviously he's not getting much traction.
Yeah.
Because he's been running for about 10 minutes already. And she murders him with a bandsaw around his neck in a mall in front of everybody. No repercussions. Just like running over the Navy guy.
By the way,
his body on the escalator.
And just leaves it there and walks out.
She's doing this. An elderly man and his wife are shopping for Christmas presents that were just there in the scene, as you can see, clearly looking at the characters.
Don't look, Harold.
And the camera, like, are we in something? And then she runs away, and they're just looking, and they almost like applaud afterwards. They're like, "Are we in a movie?"
Oh, the Hollywood magic.
They just do this all the time. It's just like we caught it just at the right day. It's so wonderful.
Are we going to be invited to the premiere?
Run!
So let me just find my business card. Run!
Westfield Mall rules.
So we go back to the hospital, right? And Shayna's visiting Navy. She's like, so I did great. I just killed another guy, right? Everything's going as planned. And then she goes, oh, hold on. Let me make a phone call. Can I call out from this phone? And she picks it up and she goes, hey, Sonia, I'm giving up.
You win. I'm ready to sell.
Yeah.
And while this is happening, I think this is when we see Robbie's eyes dart.
Yeah.
Like Robbie pulls
Navy
like
boyfriend.
a...
Yeah. He's like, oh.
For a
And
second.
she goes, why don't we meet at that dream room location where I really don't know where it is, but I guess I do. Let's meet there.
We're meeting where the dream room is at 3 o'clock.
Yeah. And I think you have the key. So you could probably go in there.
Look, we got to
me.
wrap this movie up.
Yeah.
Everybody just get to the final spot.
So here's the thing. They always wanted that key to get in the dream room. She just told them where the dream room is, but they don't go there already. They wait for her. So we cut to Sonia and Mr. Crown are colluding together. And Sonia tells Crown about her plan to meet Shayna in the yard. And Mr. Crown, he's like, oh, we got to go to that dream room and we got to blow it up. But we're going to blow it up in grand fashion. You know, and then they have a sex scene.
Yeah, which is kicked off by Mr. Crown saying, well, pardon me while I whip out my perestroika.
So now Shayna's hiding on the roof, but she's not hiding on a roof at all. She's sitting on a roof as Mr. Crown
Before
pulls
we
up.
jump ahead, I want to point out the fact that our teppanyaki chef Wolf was in the background during that scene.
Oh, he's still there. Yeah.
He's just
yeah.
watching them bone, just going clang, clang,
Because I like to eat when I'm done. So let's get going. Chop, chop.
Want another volcano?
It takes him 2 minutes to finish a sushi roll. So that's how long we got. So now
Crown quickie.
Shayna's just sitting on a roof with a gun in her hand, and like she sees Mr. Crown and Sonia pull up in like a Yugo, right? And she's like, "Now I got you real good."
But does
and
she,
they can
Mike?
clearly see her, right? And
She's
they
not
get out-
hiding behind anything.
they
She's
get-
just standing on the roof.
They get out of the car, and then a masked terrorist behind her pulls a gun on her. Is like, "We know you're here."
Not
And
so
Mis-
fast.
And Mr. Crown looks right up at her, like no surprise. He's like, "Of course we knew you were waiting. You told us to meet us here." And also he goes, "Also, you like this shitty rental car? Because I got to pretend like my character would never drive this." He has to make a line about that, which I was like, really odd.
That's the actor's car.
Yeah, because it's
He's
something
just like,
like,
yeah, I wouldn't.
"You mean I'm a big time director in this movie, and I don't even get like a fancy Ferrari or nothing? I have to drive my own Yugo to set." And so then
And so he explains his devious plan that they're going to kill her, but not yet. He's going to kill her for real in his commercial.
Yeah. And she goes, "You mean the world's first snuff commercial?" And he goes, "Yeah." So, yeah, it's going to be the world's first killing on live TV commercial, apparently. Which, by the way, if you submitted a commercial to be on TV, you really think they're going to allow you to put a woman blowing up on your commercial?
Hey, if you're the power behind the president, sure, why not?
And you got that Roger Rabbit sway.
So then they open the door to the dream room. We're inside, and then all of a sudden that
Well,
masked
we're in the
man-
storage unit, not the dream room itself.
Yes, we're in the storage unit where apparently the dream room is located somewhere.
Somewhere
because it's
underneath
the
it.
fucking biggest storage unit of all time. It has multiple levels. It has a downstairs.
Oh, it's the Hollywood Bowl self-storage. I believe we get to see
Yeah.
that sign.
Oh yeah.
2 units down, they're actually filming one of those reality shows. You hear a guy going, "Yup," in the background. They're auctioning off the storage units. This one's got a dream room. Dream room. Do I hear $250 for the dream room?
So Tanner, they go in there, and that masked terrorist, right?
His
he has
hand
the
is
gun.
bothering.
Yeah.
Tanner, what happens?
We get another surprising reveal.
Oh my God, the twist
in a
and turns.
film that
is like a
literally
Russian
has
doll.
more twists than a pretzel factory. Am I right, folks? I'll be here all week.
Oh.
Robbie is one of the terrorists.
Navy boyfriend.
How could you?
The character that literally no one in this movie likes is a bad guy.
Every character who's met him in this movie for even a second goes, "I don't trust that guy."
Yeah, he did a heel turn off screen.
Yeah,
That's right.
no, he was always a bad guy.
This is like when Linda McMahon stood up. Yeah, he pulls it out and goes, "It was me all along."
He pretty much does.
Shayna.
He's like, "I killed your whole family and everything." And
They
she's
never
like,
liked me.
and then Crown goes,
You're fired.
and then Crown goes, "All right, well, we're gonna blow you up now. Any
he
questions?"
explains the blocking of the scene to
Yeah.
everybody. He's like, "All right, you got 3 minutes, plastic explosives. I want you here and you here."
Yeah, he goes, "Sonia, set the timer right now. Okay, we're going to film it." And she's like, "Well, what are you going to do with the camera?" He's like, "I got plenty of cameras." Shut up. He goes, "I'm going for the real, avant-garde look here." And he goes, "Any questions?" And she goes, "Yeah. Do I get any residuals?"
Come up and see me.
Wow. So then Navy's tying Shayna up, right? Navy boyfriend. He's like, hey, I betrayed you and everything. And she's like, take off that mask. Let me see your face. Let me see your face. And he takes it off.
Did you ever love me?
Yeah. And she's like, oh, God, look at you. You're so sexy and everything. Did
And
you ever
she
love
starts
me?
trying to convince him to give her one last time.
Yeah. He's like, it's not going to work, Shayna. Not now. And she's like, oh, man, I just want you to bone me right here, right now, right now. Just tell
me you need to check the ropes.
Yeah, tell me you need to check the rope. Bone me right
He's
now.
like, look, I'm in the middle of a thing right now. I'm not going to do this.
I'm working right now.
Like, look, I'm trying to. There's an explosive
lift up my
set. I gotta
skirt. Lift up my
and she's
skirt
like,
right now.
just
Do
think, Robbie. No birth control. Huh?
What does that mean? No birth control.
It means he can raw dog it, Mike.
Yeah, but of course.
She's like, I'm about to blow up anyway. Doesn't really matter. Can't get me
I
pregnant.
understand that, but it was like.
It's a weird way to say it.
Yeah,
Just
I
say
was
like,
what?
hey, no condom.
Chew that blue, Robbie.
I guess she wasn't taking it before. So I don't know. Who
They're
knows?
chewable now, Robbie. Only takes a minute.
Yeah, and then here's the thing. We cut over. Sonia and Mr. Crown are still standing right there. As she's saying this, she's going, yeah, fuck me right now. Tell him you're going to check the ropes and everything. Tell him right now. Right now, lift my skirt up.
They're in the room. like every other plan she has talked about in this entire movie, she's saying it in earshot of the bad guys.
And while she's saying that, they're listening. Yeah. Because Sonia looks over and she goes, is that severed finger in your pocket or are you just happy to see me?
Everybody,
Ice
Robbie's got a
cold,
bonus.
baby. Ice cold.
I mean, that is Siberian hot tub cold.
And so, obviously, he does take her up on this.
Well,
So
they set the timer. Everybody leaves,
and
right?
He goes, I gotta check the ropes.
So
And he comes
just
over
Navy
and-
boyfriend and Shayna are here now.
And
Crown and
yeah.
Sonia are just standing right outside the storage locker.
Soundproof storage locker.
Yeah, and Shayna gets one more line in as they leave, and she goes, I hate method acting.
Well, she asks him, when Robbie gets in there, she says, thank you, my love, for granting a horny maiden one last wish.
Yeah, and he says, you invited me for dinner, now I'm going to eat and run.
They just keep going for this. He's like, the mission is over, and now you're going to get 10 inches of Cold War.
Best line of the movie.
10 inches of Cold War. And so he starts going for it.
Yeah.
And, she's feeling it.
While he's fucking her, he goes, and by the way, I killed your whole family.
Yeah, how's it feel to get fucked by someone who killed your whole family? And so she keeps, making small talk.
Well, he also goes, I never loved you. I never loved you. Just like punching a clock.
As he's
right,
fucking-
Austin.
That's right. Even beyond,
I never loved you.
even
I
beyond
hate
the movies we've watched, which have included a lot of rape and uncomfortable sex scenes. In my life, I've seen movies. I've seen The Accused when I was 10. I've seen some very uncomfortable sex scenes. This might be the most uncomfortable sex scene.
Oh, yeah.
Because this one's consensual.
It is, but also so creepy.
Yeah.
It's
No, I know. It's
so,
fucked up.
Oh boy.
But then it
you
gets
have
weirder.
you have a man trying to make it non-consensual with someone who is insisting that it is.
Okay, so
You're
reverse
he's
cowboy
like, no,
rape?
I'm raping you. She's like, you're not really. I'm kind of here.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's definitely a rape.
And by the way, the whole time, the timer is getting lower. It's at 30 seconds. And then she's still like, yeah.
This is the most tense thing in this movie. I'm looking back and forth between the...
It does. Just keep cutting. You're like, I don't know what's going to happen. Guys, the timer's at 1. And they're still going. And she's also, now all of a sudden, she's turning the tables on. She's like, yeah, but you can't even fuck me good right now.
Well, because she
you're not even
starts
good.
talking about nothing. She's making small talk about his day. He's like, hey, I'm trying to do this here. Can we not, can we not talk about this mid-stroke?
Yeah,
I'm
and you can
trying
hear,
to,
by
Tell
the
me
way,
about your boss.
there's a beeping going on. It's like beep, 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 beep. And he's like, come on, Jen, I'm trying to finish. And then all of a sudden it gets to
and
0.
So it gets to 0. She wraps her arms and legs around him and pulls him tight against her as a human shield.
Yeah.
And so then which causes her to, this is like locking yourself in the fridge. It causes her to survive the explosion. She's insulated by him.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about this before the show. That wouldn't work.
No.
She'd just blow up with him.
Yeah.
And even if the scenario did work, he's blown apart at this point,
Well,
right?
nobody blows up.
Right.
It's just 2 people roll to the ground.
Yeah, but it should have been he gets blown to smithereens, which would mean that he's also still inside her.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That would be the most horrifying
Yeah.
thing in this movie.
Yeah, you get up and
Talk
there's
about
a
cold
Wow.
war steel.
So then, as he's laying dead on the ground, not blown up at all, it's still just him.
Not even smoke coming off of his back.
She places the mask from Atlantis Interceptors on his face. She had a clear mask that was never in this movie before.
No, he was wearing it when he got her on the roof.
Yeah.
I thought he had no, he didn't have a clear mask.
No, yeah, it's the weird clear.
It's that one
Okay,
that pops
okay.
up in every movie we cover.
But it is. It's
yeah,
like
Miss 45.
Yeah, it's
like
just
clear-
that frosted. It's the rapist mask from Miss 45. Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And then she hides in a set of stairs, which are stairs in a storage locker.
Yeah, Mike, have you been watching this movie? God damn it! They said the dream room is hidden underneath a storage locker.
And she's
That's the hatch to the storage locker.
Yes, she's hiding on the stairs.
What are these stairs, Mike?
Well, I'm just like, where are we? And then
we're at the storage unit with the dream room
bomb
under
blew
it.
up the door to the dream
Did you
room,
just
and now
get
the dream
here?
room is exposed. And she, for some reason, hides on the stairs, which I don't
holding
understand.
a gun,
Yeah.
right? She's got a gun in her hand and a piece of glass. And then Mr. Crown and Sonia walk in, and they're like, "Where's the? Oh shit! She blew up that guy instead of herself." And by the way, they never at one point were like, "Hey, Robbie, you want to come out of there? What are you doing?" They
Like,
never.
when the explosion went off, they were like, "Robbie never came out."
Yeah, they were just like, I don't know. So Crown and Sonia are looking around. They're like, "Where'd she go?" And they don't see her clearly sitting right there on the staircase.
It's like walking by a baseball dugout and there's a person sitting there on the
Yes.
bench. You're like, where could she be?
And so Sonia positions herself in a really interesting way. She wants to straddle the stairs, right?
Uh-huh.
So she just stands above the stairs, spread eagle, okay?
No
and,
reason.
Bobby, now Shayna has a gun and a piece of glass. Please tell me what happens next.
So she opts for the latter. She grabs the piece of glass, goes, "Ha ha!" You know, and just, we're just gonna say it. She jams it right in her cooter.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Like she splits the uprights with this big piece of jagged glass. And the thing about this is, it's horrifying. And also, she didn't have she wasn't near enough to pull that off. She's way too far down the stairs.
Yeah. And now here's the thing,
She'd
Chris.
have to do like a Street Fighter dragon punch to
She
even
did.
get up there.
You didn't hear her say, "Oh no!" Chris, now we've had a shotgun hysterectomy in a gator bait, right?
Yeah,
But this is a grind bin first. We've never had a piece of glass being
shoved in a vagina.
The old glass pass.
Yeah.
This is usually how you serve a turkey at Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And then
jagged piece of glass in it.
Yeah, you got to stuff it somehow.
Yeah,
and so then Crown looks at Sonia dead on the ground from the glass in the vag and says,
she's not dead yet, because he sees her kind of squirming. It's one of those like, "Do you want to go on?" He just goes, "Sonia," and he shoots her. Blam! And goes, "Take 5."
which was great. And then they run down some hallway.
Again, we're running down a corridor in a straight line.
It is like where the Ninja Turtles live or some shit. We're in a sewer all of a sudden, right? And then all of a sudden...
They're going to run by Linda and her military boyfriend escaping the red heat prison.
They run right past him. They go, "Oh, you too." And so then,
Do you got any crutches? I broke my leg.
And so then Crown gets at the end of the hall and Shayna's got a gun. And then he goes, hey, I'll give you whatever you want. And she goes, "Yeah, give me lead."
And she says, "And I'll give you lead."
And she shoots him dead.
She says, "I'm a lead farmer, motherfucker." Yeah, she just unloads the gun onto him.
Come on, I'll give you anything you want.
I'll give you lead.
And then, Tanner, you thought he wasn't in this movie again. The guard shows up.
Oh, that's right.
Because all of a sudden,
Like
Shayna...
he's been there the whole time?
Shayna's in the dream room now. Well, she's sitting in a Eames chair, from what I can see. You know what? I'm going to blow your fucking mind. It is an Eames chair, actually, that she's sitting in. Yeah, it is an Eames chair.
You know this?
It definitely is, actually. Now that I think about it, I'm like, that's an interesting chair. And now I'm thinking, it is definitely.
Because
and
we
like, you can
haven't-
take it home actually, you can't take it home. That's Dan's. That's Dan's
Because we
chair.
haven't established how the how the dream room works or where it is. I thought she was going to take the chair to the dream room. It's like an undercover brother thing where she has to get in the barbershop chair and go down into the ground.
So this is like the set is an Eames chair and like half of the set from the original Alien when she goes to visit Mother.
Yeah.
Because it's just like a bunch of Christmas lights, you know, in cardboard on the wall and stuff.
I wouldn't even go that far. It looks like a set from the original Lost in Space.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Are you coming?"
The guard, the guard's in here.
And she goes, "No, I'm going to stay here with my family." And then she puts on a VR helmet.
And she leans back in her Eames chair, right? Do you think this is just a big commercial for Eames chairs?
Yeah.
It's just being like,
This
you
is
can
her,
see all
like-
your dead relatives.
It's like
It's
what's
so
in an
comfortable.
Eames chair. It's like a dream.
The Magnavox guy sitting in front of the...
Yeah, but an Eames chair is so comfortable you can see your dead relatives.
Man, that is a comfortable sit. Like,
It's so comfortable. It's like the room just fills up with smoke, and I see the ghosts.
So that's
like,
why
is the dream room on fire?
when it cut to credits, it said available now for $5,099 plus shipping.
But yeah, the room starts filling with smoke, and she starts... she's like Blanca in the Street Fighter movie.
Okay,
She's just
yeah.
getting flashing images of all these different things in her face.
This shit goes insane at this point.
It feels like the opening of Freddy's Nightmares.
It does.
Oh man.
It's just like newspaper clippings and little girls running around, and then like her mom and dad smiling.
Oh, by the way, I love the touch. The dream room machine, it's got a clapper.
Yep.
She claps it on. And then, yeah, there's screaming. Some
And
lady
then-
gets hit in the face with a salami. If you saw that part, there's a shot of a woman getting slapped in the mouth with a stick of salami.
What is that
I'm
from?
Roast
like,
beef,
what?
deli, Philly, sand. It all means something.
That they were trying to tell us the whole time.
I rewound that part going, was that in the movie before? This one?
Salami slap.
And imagine filming that scene? It's just, no, you're only in the movie for a second, but you mind if I hit you with this salami?
So she travels through the salami tunnel in her mind and ends up on a boat with her family.
Yeah, we're back at Balboa.
Yeah, we're all hanging out on some yacht. You know, hopefully the owner won't show up before we get this scene done. And the dad says, yeah, the dream world's not so bad, right?
We are uncomfortably close up, by the way, on everybody. So
Yeah.
you're right. Like, the owner better not show up because they're just like, just go quick.
Sir. But yeah, the dad's like, hey, welcome. We're all hanging out on this boat for all eternity.
Yeah.
You know, the idea of spending eternity on a little boat with my whole family does not sound nice.
No. But by the way, before she gets there, it is very 2001 time tunnel. And I wrote,
Yes.
if this movie better fucking have Jupiter Baby. Like, at one point
Holding
I thought...
a salami.
Yes. He's the one who's...
Getting hit in the face with a salami.
It does the full time tunnel. And it like cuts to her doing like the Dave thing where she's like, just going back and forth on the boat with their whole family. Right? And that's it. We sail off and...
And then the guard guy checks back inside the dream room, and she's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Her body has vanished. She faded out of existence, which
Cut.
isn't how this is supposed to work.
Nope. Credits.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Credits. Okay, recommendations, everybody?
I will go yes.
Yeah.
I do heavily recommend this movie.
Do some cough syrup first. Even better.
Some what?
Cough syrup.
Do some robo-tripping?
Yes, definitely robo-trip. This one.
Yes.
No, this is the best bin movie I think ever. Like if like we were gonna pick a movie to end the podcast on, this would be it.
Before we all go to the dream room.
And surprise everybody.
yeah. This is the last episode.
We're heading into the dream room forever to be with our families on the boats.
It's really bizarre that this isn't better known.
Yeah.
Like
how
it's been almost fucking 30 years. Like how is there not like a cult around this movie?
And this so outrooms the room.
Right.
Yes.
And it's like you look at the ones that are the cornerstone ones, you know, Birdemic, The Room, things like that. They don't come anywhere near the absurdity and utter failure of
They
this
will
movie.
not stand the test of time.
Yeah.
This is a Demon Cop level of obscure. Like it was to the point where somebody's like, well, I don't know how we're gonna rent this.
I feel like this and Demon Cop are both movies that I think we're going to, in the near future, we're going to see people find out about this.
I mean, they have to.
One of these boutique labels are going to suddenly drop a Blu-ray of one of these, and everyone's going to be like, holy shit, this movie no one knew about.
And the craziest thing is that this is made by a guy whose family made the Eames chairs.
Yes.
Like he's a super wealthy, weird guy that went to Harvard. And nobody's ever seen this movie or anything. And that's, I think, the weirdest thing about all of it is that this is probably the only one of these like shithouse auteur movies that was made by like a super wealthy dude.
Made by a guy who could afford to do whatever the fuck he felt like.
Yeah, and he made this.
Because he had a blank check, basically.
Yeah, he made you know what? I bet he delivered this to his dad, and he goes, "Dad, I made commercial for chair." And he watches it, goes, "Son, this is great, but
it ends in a chair." Like, it ends with the hero having accomplished the mission, sitting down in an Eames chair and drifted away.
It's true. And you know what? Here's the thing. Throughout this whole movie, there's a severe lack of chairs.
We're not going to show anybody else's chairs.
It's true. Yeah. It's the only chair in the whole movie. I'm pretty sure.
The only time someone sits down, it's in a hot tub.
A hot tub, a couch, or finally an Eames chair, where they finally found the perfect place to sit. So, guys, do you hear that sound? How on earth would Bobby and DeVito fit in the world of Mind Trap?
I'm certain that this director hasn't just done political ads. There's got to have been like a personals ad he did. You know, they had video dating in the 80s that was real big. And I envision a very highly produced one where the straight arrow comes squealing around and he hops out the driver's side. And he's like, given the choice between a joint and an American flag, I'd take the joint. I'm Bobby Hampton, and I approve this message.
Man.
I almost feel like at the end of that dream tunnel, it was gonna be like at the end of it,
Starts
like
playing.
like if you sit in the Eames chair and you fall back a little bit too far, and like maybe instead of going with her family, like it didn't end there. We saw it cut, but then all of a sudden she goes, "Wait, where am I going?" As the time tunnel still goes back, and she's like,
It's just the salami footage over and over
yeah,
again.
it's salami footage over and over, and then all of a sudden there's Jupiter baby, but he's got a little orange poof and a joint in his mouth, and he looks out over to her as they look about onto the earth and the stars around, and he turns towards her and he goes, "Shayna, you want to share a joint?" And that's it.
Oh man, that was close to what I was gonna get. So she's in the chair and she's going further back, and then it's blackness. And then she opens her eyes and her mouth's full of water. She spits it out. And if she hears his voice, it's, "Bobby, are you okay? Bobby, you okay?" And she goes, "I'm fine." And around her is the wreckage of the van at the end of the race with Dugan.
And that totally would be
The
Bobby's
dream room
fever
was
dream.
just the back of the straight arrow.
Yeah.
But Bobby's
like it comes up out of a ramp under the storage unit.
Bobby's fever dream is that he's a female actor.
Yeah.
He's an actress.
Yep.
And Dan Haggerty was there, and you were there, and
Russians are there.
And they were gonna blow me up, and I had to do some things.
yeah, Bobby goes, and there's collusion. There's Russians and collusion, and the president.
It's a witch hunt, Bobby.
Yes, and he's saying this as they lock him into like that Terminator 2, insane asylum.
Oh man! So later we're gonna come back. He's doing shit-ups.
It's Buff Bobby.
Oh god.
Mine is pretty simple. Mine is just at the end after Shayna disappears, we hard cut to Bobby waking up, and we're like, it was all a dream. And then he looks down and he's in the Siberian hot tub.
You imagine he said, "Hey, I came over to clean the hot tub," like he's a pool boy or something. And Sonia goes,
He specializes in Siberian hot tubs.
Yeah. Sonia's like, "Why don't you get in?" "Oh, it's so cold. I swear it doesn't always look like that. It's the water."
It's usually 10 miles of pink steel.
So thank you for joining us on another episode of the Grindbin. Tanner, you got a lot of stuff to promote. I know that.
Oh yeah. Let's see. What do I got? Next year, you can check out my convention schedule. March, I'll be in Seattle for Emerald City Comic Con in the middle of the month, and then I'll be in Anaheim for WonderCon at the end of the month. See me on some panels and come buy some books.
Yay!
Yay! Books.
And Junior Braves Volume 2 is out right now, and also Codename Diamond Force.
Yeah, available on my website, buymichaeltanner.com.
Hell yeah. I don't think anybody has anything else.
Stickers.
Oh, yeah. Well, definitely your... if you didn't already get it, you're definitely getting your Grindbin care packages, all you Patreon members. So they're coming out priority mail.
Well, I mean, this episode drops in early December, so I hope it got there by now.
I hope, because priority mail is like 2 days, so better fucking get it. What do you mean, yeah?
It's December. It's a little rough.
It says 2 to 3 days guaranteed, God damn it.
I was fucked on that one, actually. I mailed something priority, and it got there like a week and a half later. Yeah. Oh, well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We'll take it up with the man.
Oh, well.
So, yeah, maybe somebody give us the last line and we'll get out of this.
You've got 10 seconds to contemplate your failure.
Got no real rhythm.
We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love fun and games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
This is Los Angeles.
How the hell would women live? I'm horny.
And maybe Daddy wouldn't have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore.
What a shame.
It's for jacking off.
Come on, just step on the gas before we get creamed.
So you guys did see that salami slap, right? It happened. It happened in the movie.
I think you imagined it.
Oh, no. Trust me.
It
I
was
rewound
real.
that. I was like, there's no way that was...
I was there.